Introducing Alpaca Airways' new line of package holidays to all of your favorite earthly destinations. Here at Alpaca Airways, we try our best to make sure you start your holiday without stress and a smile that'll last until you return safely home from another memorable sunny break. Our crew are the friendliest in the sky. In fact, let us introduce them to you. Starting with our lovely cabin crew, Mariana will see to all of your in-flight service needs from gate to gate across the skies of Europe and beyond, with her trusty junior cabin assistant Jack at her beck and call, who will fetch you anything you need to make your journey a pleasant one. Our flight deck crew are also second to none, almost too literally. First Officer Jim keeps a watchful eye over the instruments and can be seen providing in-flight entertainment with his pathetic attempts at courtship. You'll have to do better than that, Jim. Chief Captain Flight Deck 2 Sim will safely see you to your destination, fearlessly controlling the aircraft, be it through smooth skies or a tickle of turbulence. Trust us when we tell you he's no chicken. Our in-flight meal service is industry-leading with our new buy-on-board menu featuring buttered bread, bread and butter pudding, butterscotch candy, and of course, I can't believe it's not butter, for those days where the captain just needs to get on the deck. At Alpaca Airways, we offer exclusive members-only Alpaca coach seating at the front of the aircraft, allowing you access to the flight deck before takeoff and after landing to discuss anything from flap angles to marriage advice with our friendly cockpit crew. We've received accolades from literally several customers and regularly provide charter flights to high flyers such as Her Majesty Lizzie Windsor, who has described her experience on Alpaca Airways as proper banging and the absolute dog's I can't read that out on broadcast radio. We can guarantee you won't find a better deal. In fact, our flights are on average 15% cheaper than our rivals, Llama International Airlines. So don't delay, call today on 0800 737 737 015 to book your Alpaca holiday now. And remember, if it's not butter, go around until the engines splutter.
Well, a very good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another Flight Deck to Sim live stream today, the 25th of May 2021, 7 minutes past 5 here in the evening, back in Explain 11, back in the ZIBO mod 737. It's been a while since we played the Alpaca Airways advert. I thought we'd just roll it before the stream here. Here we are in Carcassonne. It's exactly where we left the ZIBO mod. It's an absolutely cracking here at the moment in the south of France. It's 24 degrees, clear skies, light breeze from the west. Later on in Knock, though, it could be getting a little bit blustery. The weather's a little bit inclement over in Ireland and on the west coast of the UK today, which should be quite exciting to see what happens here. This stream is a massive thank you to Boundless Direct, who just recently released their Knock Island West Airport. They got in contact with me and very kindly gave me a copy. They also said we'd like to give away a copy to one of your followers as well. So after we've landed in Knock Island West, we'll be doing a little giveaway where you have a chance to win the scenery. We'll have a good look around as well and see what is going on. Hope you're doing well, Kitty System. You are logged on as Alpaca18, excellent. We've got Callum Thompson here. I thought Alpaca Airways was buying over Lara International. They're quite a big airline, in fact, we quite afford them. Roger Elites here, he says that was good. I guess some of my newer subscribers probably hadn't seen the video before, so I hope you enjoyed that as well. Tim Waters, hope you're doing well. Finley Barfoot's here as well. Bjorn, Mark Sanderson, I hope you're doing good. Lauren V, Anthony's here. Paul Shoesmith, Rory Heap, hope you're doing well, my friend. Boz, Mark King, and Kid Bear, a few of the people in the house there. Mark, evening captain, when you update the ZIBO, do you have to redo the nav data from Navigraph? No, you shouldn't need to. I am actually running the old version today. I tested Sector this morning with no problems when a pre-release version of the mod 349.3, and then Navigraph released their latest AirRack update. I didn't update it just because I didn't have time to test to see if it works. Sometimes it can cause problems with add-ons. It shouldn't matter. The routing will be pretty much identical. I've actually dispatched an aircraft in real life before with an expired nav database. It means you just have to carefully check the approach charts, make sure the points check with each routing in the FMC. It's not a big deal, but yes, next sector will update the AirRack here. Here we are then in Carcassonne, just the default scenery. Flight time should be 2 hours and 10 minutes, and for the first time in a very long time, the aircraft's set up. That's why I was a little bit late. I did the full setup, all ready to go pretty much. We're going to step through the routing, show you a little bit of where we are geographically going. We'll look at the the SID, the taxi out, and I might do the emergency briefings today because I'm actually jumping into the sim in the next few days and going flying in less than 2 weeks, so it'll be good practice for me to review all the checklists as well. Lauren, wait, which ZIBO version is broken? I've not used 349 yet. Well, the one I'm using is fine. I tested it this morning, 349.3. I think 349.1 when it came out had a few issues, but it should be fine now. Here we are in the Boeing-themed Alpaca Airways liveried 737 today. Massive thanks to Jordan, one of my members, who jigged this one slightly. It's one of my favourite one here. We've got a few people online as well on VADSIM. We have an Alpaca Airways Airbus. There's the original one there. We've got Alpaca Airways and Ryanair merging on top of each other. Alpaca Airways over there, a total 737, whoever that is there. Could be a little bit chaotic getting out because it's no ATC at the moment, and we do have to backtrack onto this runway as well. Toby, good news, Captain. Thank you very much. Callum, is this default scenery? It is. And Reese, for weekdays I can only join streams at our 2 PM standard Pacific time. For weekends I can join streams at any time. Streams start on weekdays at 9 AM. I just start whenever's convenient to me, if I'm honest, because especially as I go back to work, it's whenever I get some free time. But right now this is the perfect time here in Europe, 5 PM or 10 past 5 in the UK here, so there we go. Right, there we are, look, jumped into the fly deck, everything's pretty much all ready to go. Just turn the volumes down here. So let me just double check. I don't think we have anyone on VATSIM. No, we don't. There's no centre online as well. So I'm at the stage where I've just finished uploading up the flight management computer and we get our departure clearance. Now what I'm going to do is imagine we have our clearance and go straight up to flight level 360. Quite unusual, but at certain airports you can get clearances straight up to your cruise level if it's particularly quiet. Some airports in Poland, for example. So 360 is set. Performance routing information is all in, ready to go. So I'll select terrain and airports on here. So Jim would have just finished the walk around. He's jumped into the flight deck here. We'll step through the operational flight plan. So here is the flight plan today. We're basing it on 152 passengers, which I've loaded into the ZIBO EFB, and the weather is really not that nice in Ireland tonight. Basically, Connaught, well unfortunately Connaught, or Knock Island West, where we're flying to, the airport's actually closed at the moment, I believe. There's no METAR information available, and from what I understand, Active Sky will interpolate with local weather stations. Now looking at the weather at Dublin and Shannon, they've got winds of 12 knots in Dublin. Shannon's got 26 knot winds, but sometimes gusting up to 39. So there's a lot of strong winds, a lot of low pressure around the area, low pressure system moving through the UK and Ireland at the moment. Now, based on the weather conditions, if I was flying into Knock this evening, I'll probably take an extra hour's worth of fuel because there's widespread disruption and bad weather all around here. So I want enough fuel to get back on mainland UK essentially. So the fuel minimum required 7.9. If we take 2.4 tons on top of that, that's going to be 10.3 tons. And if you have a look here on the gauges, look, you can see I have 10.2. That's an extra hour's worth of fuel. Landing weight will still be below the max landing weight as well, and of what's required to land with the performance in Knock. So that's done. We then check the routing. You can see here the ground distance is 811 miles. We'd step through the flight plan. You can see here I've got 812, so I'm pretty confident we have the correct routing. We check all the instrumentation, so we cross-check the time, the UTC, the QNH, the indicated altitude with the first officer side, the MF array, and that the flight director is on. Check the standby instruments as well. We then do a little takeoff briefing. So here, the surface wind in Carcassonne straight down the runway. It's going to be runway 28 for departure. Surface wind is 270 at 9er. And we then talk about how we're going to be configured. So it'll be a normal departure, bleeds on, packs auto, dry speeds. Emergencies, let's do my emergency briefing for Captain because I'm going to be going in the sim soon. Be good practice. So we'll step through what we do in the event of rejected takeoff. So above 80 knots, I'd only reject for a fire warning or engine failure. Predictive wind chill warning, airplanes are unable or unsafe to fly. Before V1, if I call stop, I'll simultaneously close the thrust levers, disconnect the auto throttle, apply max manual braking, verify operation of the RTO auto brake, manually raise speed brake lever, select max reverse thrust, bring the aircraft to a stop and set the parking brake. Now then the first officer would do his, I'll try and remember, so he'll note the brakes on speed in the event of rejected takeoff, call speed brake up, speed brake not up, call thrust reverse as normal, abnormal indications, verify actions and complete, call out any emissions and call 100 knots, 80 knots, 60 knots, runway distance remaining, and then auto brake disarm, selecting the flat 40. After the parking brake has been set, then inform ATC of the reject. Anthony, Glenn's second cousin Henry on the fuel line today, or Henry the Hose as they call him in the boozer. Yes, the fuel truck often drives quite close and around the aircraft in this scenery, I've noticed there. So we've done the rejected takeoff memory items. What we do, we then talk about what we do in the event of evacuation. So I pull out the QRH, read the evacuation checklist, and if time permits, we'll call the cockpit voice recorder CB as well, which is behind us. And then pilot flying will discuss what he needs to do in the event of an engine failure after V1. So if the V1 call, we say keep on going, we'll take off and raise the landing gear for a positive rate of climb. 400 feet to engage heading, select, carry out any memory items. At the MF array here, we'll accelerate 1430, retract the flaps of schedule, and then once the flaps up, no lights, we'll engage level change, max continuous thrust, engage the autopilot, climb to the MSA, which is I think 4,000 or 5,000 feet around here. I actually looked here. Let's have a look at the charts on the approach, and that's what we do every single first flight of the day. We brief our actions as pilot flying, what we do in the event of an engine failure at V1, and also our actions in the event of rejected takeoff. So if we were to have an engine failure after departure, we would climb to 5,000 feet, which would, well actually I'll go up to 6,000 feet because a little bit of terrain here to the north, and that's what we do there. Matthew says, please can I see the APU? Well, I need to start it, but the APU is located in the tail cone just here, but I can start it now if you wish. We need to get the aircraft rolling. So we've briefed the emergencies. Let's have a look at the taxi. So no pushback here. So we're on stand Alpha, I think it's just called, or I think it's just Papa Alpha, just here right inside the terminal. No pushback. Let's start the engines. And this taxiway here, Tango, is a little bit too narrow for a 737. So 737s that operate here would have to vacate at either Bravo 1 or Charlie. So very short taxi to Charlie, and then we're going to have to backtrack and then do a 180 to take off from runway 28. Here's our SID. We're going to be flying the Gaudo 2 Whiskey. There's Gaudo 2 Whiskey. We then check it in the FMC. Gaudo 2 Whiskey. Transition altitude is... where is it on the Jefferson chart? There we are. 5,000 feet. So we'll put 5,000 feet in the FMS. Thank you very much, JDog0302, who's just joined as a member. Thank you very much for the support. Glad you enjoyed the content. You get invited to our members only Discord. Join your custom emojis in chat as well. Thank you very much. Perfect. So that's the transition altitude checked. Routing very simple then for us. If I can find it on the JEP chart. Gaudo 2 Whiskey 28. Climb on 275, which is pretty much runway heading, to the Charlie Sierra NDB. Charlie Sierra NDB, you'll see it's already active, tuned. Charlie Sierra. And then we fly the 276 bearing to Rapes. 275 to Rapes, and then to Gaudo. It's just a straight line, basically, all the way there. And then when we get to Gaudo, we make a right turn inbound to the Toulouse VOR, which I have actually active on box 1 and 2. Right, that's it. Taxi and briefing done. APU's on the bus. Been running for more than a minute, so we'll pop the APU bleed on. Let's retract the air stairs, close the doors. And, yeah, definitely no ATC. We're all good. Dave Hagen, at Lima Tuesday, I had a severe wind of up to 100 knots and I couldn't reverse push and even taxi properly, and the aircraft even blew a bit off the sense line at the gate. Is that normal in real life? Now, Dave, if you're experiencing winds of 100 knots, I suggest you're probably in a hurricane or something like that. There is a maximum permitted speed at which you can operate, so 60 knots. If the wind operator is in excess of 60 knots, all operations stop, and I can assure you, way before that speed, most airports, 45 knots, they'll stop boarding, they'll stop taxiing, they'll stop loading bags as well. So 60 knots is the maximum wind speed we could operate, including gust. Anything over that, we wouldn't be able to land. So yeah, 100 knots, that's interesting. Don't know where you were. Well, Lima, you said maybe you're in a hurricane or something there. Very, very cool. So yes, what's changed with the ZIBO mod here? You'll notice there's a new switch actually, the voice recorder switch, okay? And now I'm guessing not all 737s have this. My fleet, well, the fleet my operator has this switch, and basically we have the switch on the ground, and then it makes it, you know, that's to ensure that everything we brief is recorded in case there's an incident or accident we need to pull the CVR or they have to investigate it. They can make sure that, I guess, we've briefed everything and everything's copied there. After the first engine start, it automatically trips to auto and then continues the recording as well. So yeah, it's just a switch there. It's not modelled at the moment, it's just a texture, but the modelling for that is coming very soon. There's been some subtle changes to how things work in the background too, but tested it earlier. All the most important things seem to be working really nicely. Right, let's tune up on Unicom here, and we'll report that we are starting engines. Alpaca 20 Kilo November on stand Alpha starting engines. I don't know if I have to report starting engines on Unicom, probably only movements, but let's do it anyway. Right, so what we'll do, packs off, anti-collision light is on, parking brake is set, transponder out off. We'll just wait until the cabin's secure. We'll also advise the cabin crew to arm slides and cross-check.
Flight attendants prepare for departure, cross-check and all calls.
Callum, I've been out in 40 knots, sustained winds from Prestwick before in the middle of a storm, from air stairs only and out on runway 12. Interesting is the best description. Yes, anything over 35, 40 knots, you're going to struggle to stand or pull stairs up to the aircraft. So, exactly. Right, anyway, looks like the cabin's secure. And yeah, in this case, we'd contact tower, request engine start approved, get our clearance as well, which we're imagining we have. And there we are, just move the switch to start. The takeoff page here. Hi Addy, I'm new on your channel, hello. N2. Pilot monitoring, recalled oil pressure, and we have N1 rotation as well. Check the fuel spar valve. Now, you'll notice there's a terminal directly behind us. I haven't been to Carcassonne, so I imagine there'd be a blast wall here, sort of similar to this, or you wouldn't actually park in this orientation. Now, airports like this where there's no taxi, you have to be very careful when taxiing off to use minimum thrust, because, you know, you can cause damage to ground crew, passengers perhaps boarding another aircraft, so minimum thrust on the apron is usually required. Right, starter cut out on engine number 2. 2463, 2 is stable. Starting engine number 1. There's N2. And oil pressure N1. Spar valve go from dim to bright and off. We're filled up, mate. He keeps trying to drive close to us, this guy. What was his name again? Can't remember. Someone already quoted it. 345, the windows are a pretty effective blast wall once. Brilliant. There we are. Starter cut out. G463, and the red dash light's gone, and number 1 is stable. There we are. Someone's taking off. Look on runway 28. Beautiful. Have a safe flight, sir. We're right behind you. Right, generators on, APU's off. When you're on road stand like this, you can usually carry on with the before taxi flow. Don't need to look out for a pin. Pax auto isolation valve, auto APU bleed is off and set. Flaps 5. Full 24k for departure today. Flight controls, full forwards, full back, left, centre, right, centre, and here comes the rudders, full right and full left, recall, and we have master caution flight controls, yaw damper on, that's why we do checks, recall, there we are. Before taxi check is complete, we then read it as well, the first officer would read it in that case to make sure the aircraft is configured. Right, so we're all good to go. Just advise Unicom we're taxiing to backtrack on the runway. Looking around here, looks like everyone else is still starting their engines. So, Alpaca 20 Kilo November is taxiing to backtrack runway 28. So, parking brake released. Quick config check. There we are. No takeoff config warning and minimal thrust here due to the terminal. being right behind the aircraft here. We'd actually probably have a marshaller here to guide us off stand.
Alpaca 18 is taxiing to runway 28 via Tango 2 and Delta.
Brave. So he's going via
Carcassonne traffic, radar 20.
Bravo Delta. Too narrow for a 737. We've got to go out via Charlie.
Via Tango.
Got a bad track, boys and girls. We're going to struggle. Right, anyway, we best actually check.
Alpaca 1 to
That we are clear left and right.
Taxi to Haltepunkt Foxtrot.
I made them all panic, I think, because we're leaving early. They probably haven't completed their setup. Right, anyway, so we've actually entered the active runway. So prior to entering an active runway, of course, clearance would have been required. And we also would have contacted or confirmed with the first officer that we have been cleared to line up and backtrack here. And we can now complete the before takeoff checklist. So, config we checked, flaps we have 5.5 green light, stab trim is set for departure, that is 5.75 units set. We can now complete the before takeoff briefing. So PAX auto bleeds on, the V speeds are set for departure, 38, 39, 47 set, and no V speeds on the PFD. The SID is a GACBO 1 Alpha, and we're going to be climbing straight ahead to the Charlie Sierra NDB and continuing outbound on that track all the way to Galdo. Climbing flight levels 360, NADP 2, any problems will climb straight ahead 6,000 feet. And that's it, before takeoff checklist is complete, and now we can go over line. So imagine we're clear for takeoff. LNAV auto throttle, strobes are already on, weather radar on my side, and transponder to TAR8, we'll leave it at 2000. So MCP is set, transponder, we have TAR8, strobe lights are on, lighting lights on, clear for takeoff, checks complete. I was going a little bit too fast, I wasn't looking where I'm going, so we'll use the turn circle to assist with the 180. You can do a 180 on a 45 metre wide runway, there's no problem with that. But if you've got the turn circle there, might as well use it. Matthew, calm down a little bit and chat there, otherwise you'll probably get yourself kicked out there. I can see you using caps a lot and posting a lot there. Thank you very much for your enthusiasm, but we'll keep it all nice and calm. Right, anyway, we're ready to go, guys. Look at that, 25 minutes streaming. We're about to blast off runway 28. Timing, let's go to knock. 40%. Alpaca 20 Kilo November taking off runway 28. There we are, that's all stabilised, looking good. Push token, set takeoff thrust. Go 95.4. There we are, takeoff thrust sets, indications normal.
80 knots.
Check, it's release forward pressure.
Alpaca 18 lining up and waiting.
Let's go. Now we're airborne.
Positive rate.
Gears coming up. And trim.
$400.
LNAV. Superb.
1,000.
And bug up. I understand the flight directors do external view, but we'll take it. Gently lower the nose. There we are. So, aircraft's accelerating above V2 plus 15, select flap 1. Beautiful day here in the south of France. Flaps up. So we're now waiting until we are 3,000 feet AGL, so that's 3,400 feet. We don't do anything until then. So 3,400 feet, we are climbing to a flight level, so we need to immediately set standards. We can gauge VNAV, passing 36, flight level 360. We then complete the after takeoff checklist. Let's get the autopilot in. Command A. And there we are. All the gears off, all the brakes off, star switches off, taxi light off as well. Air conditioning and pressurization. We have 1.9, that's climbing nicely. Auto, bleeds on. They're all in auto. AUT and set. Good. And we have standard set passing 50, flight level 360 after takeoff checklist is complete. There we are, guys. So yeah, a bit of a sprightly departure, but one of the reasons I got the aircraft ready here, Carcassonne as a departure airport is very small, and I have no problem with people joining me on the group flights, absolutely fine. But an airport like that where backtracking is required, had I still be doing the setup, I probably would have been 4 or 5 for departure, and the stream would have gone for another 30 minutes sat on the ground. But no, I don't want to think people that I'm not wanting to fly with you. It's just, you know, we need airports with ATC and coordination for those sort of things there. But there we are, we're well on the way now. Cool. And then when we get to knock, in around 2 hours time, we'll have to see. We're going to have to look at what Active Sky is doing with the weather, because knock is closed at the moment. It's having to interpolate with I don't know how it works. I think it interpolates with weather at surrounding airports or the kind of generic weather, and I think it's quite conservative. It's quite a shame, really. I was looking forward to flying in some quite challenging conditions, but we'll see what Active Sky makes of it, and after landing we'll do the giveaway for knock there. Very small airport in knock as well, so hopefully, I think there's literally 2 stands for a 737, that's it. There we are. Guru, is this on VATSIM? We are on VATSIM, sir. Ansi, what are the rudder pedals like in the real plane? Do they have much resistance, or do they freewheel pretty easily? There's a little bit of resistance there, more than the Cytec Road Pro Flight rudder pedals, but they're not that soft. They're quite stiff. If you have an engine failure and you don't trim it out after about 5 minutes, you know, your leg will start aching a little bit. It's quite a heavy aircraft, so what could I compare it to? It's really hard to compare it to anything. If you're on, say, a cycling machine, maybe like resistance to I don't know, half of what it is capable of doing. But yeah, after an engine failure, your leg's getting quite tired after 4 or 5 minutes. Right, let's do the pre-cruise checks, passing 113 for flight level 360. So fuel, we have, oops, that's my bad because I was rushing things there. That was a bit naughty. Don't forget to put the centre tank pumps on with 2.38 in the centre as well. You want to always run the centre tank fuel first. Not good for the structural design of the wing. So that's something we would have checked on the checklist. Whoops, you know what to do in chat members. Lights coming off, APU's off, and pressurising. Yes, we are 4.5. Climbing and set. Recall checked, and monitoring went 121.5. Excellent, checks complete. Brilliant. Samuel, your Active Sky says 4 knots at knock. Pfft, I can assure you it's probably not 4 knots at knock right now. That's such a shame. I don't know how it works, the Active Sky interpolation. But yeah, I guess knock is shut due to the pandemic, I only guess. Anyway.
50, 40,
Jim!
30, 20, 10.
Jim's just slipped me a fiver, sat right next to me. Thanks, Jim. Jim, what is it you want to say?
Captain, why is it that there is only a coffee cup on your side in the ZIBO?
I don't know. What is wrong with Microsoft Jane at the moment? Microsoft Jane doesn't want to seem to read the entire donation these days. Thank you very much, Jim, the first officer. The rest of the message said, am I not a person? Is it not my right to have a caramel latte with whipped cream? Oh, no. Thank you very much. Anyway, Jim, you need to donate. You can just talk to me. That's fine. I'll make sure the cabin crew at the rear get you a... what was it you wanted? A caramel latte with whipped cream. No problem. Thank you very much, whoever you are. Unbelievable. I don't know who that is. So funny. It's quite true, actually. I have to chat to ZIBO. Why am I the only one with a coffee? Also need to have a lid on top of that, technically. Brilliant. Absolutely. things. I'm always trying to find whether it's an ADP departure, and if so, 1 or 2. I can't find it on the charts. Where can I find it? Thanks a lot. Great question, Captain LX. Now, some charts, not all, will say an ADP 2 or 1. So last stream, when we were flying the Beluga, I believe it did say on that departure, fly an ADP 2. If you can't find the information on the chart, now what we have on our all our airports, we have a document. Most of our airports have a document called an airfield brief, and they go in a lot more detail, kind of like beyond the charts, so things which are unique, say, to our operation, like where we're going to be parking at Alpaca Airways, any threats, so you can expect this from ATC, get your clearance at this point. A passenger Escobar. Haven't heard him in a while. Amazing. It's been ages since I heard that. So yeah, we have it on our airfield briefings. On the airfield briefings, it does specifically say, yeah, an ADP 1 or 2. But if you can't find out, I'd say 95% of departures are an ADP 2. As in Europe, that is, you know, just from kind of experience on the route. Matthew, am I the only one who's seeing the engine blade going crazy? Well, that's sort of what it would look like. Matt, Windy app does say it's 9 knots in knock. Or maybe that low pressure system has moved through and it's actually calmed down a bit in knock. Then it might actually be as it is. Gino, how have you assigned your camera views, if you don't mind me asking? I, in X-Plane 11, use the number pad, so you can press Control, then the number you wish to assign it to. So, for example, 1, so I can make it a sim here, is skipper's view, 2 is MCP, 3 is the flight management computer, 4 is the overhead panel, 5 is the upper overhead panel, 6 the pedestal, 7 is wing view left, 8 is wing view right, and then 9 is Jim. And then 0 EFB. And I pretty much use that format for every aircraft I fly. It's X-Plane 11 has a very, very good default camera system. There's no add-on here, this is just how it works by default. It's really good. Amen says, what is your FPS? A cool, well, no, sorry, Microsoft Flight Simulator, so am I. 35 at the moment, 35 FPS. But don't forget, I'm running everything here, Streamlabs. Ortho 4XB does take a little bit of processing power to load in from my external hard drive as well. No problem, Captain EX. So we can actually get rid of the ADF, not using it anymore. You can see we're almost directly overhead Toulouse. We're just about to fly right over Toulouse Airport where they build the Airbus. Oh my god, sorry ladies and gentlemen, I forgot to... there we go. That's better. There we are, Toulouse, where they build the Airbus. That's zoom level 17 on the Ortho 4XB if you're wondering. ZIBO's, that ZIBO, by the way, is the actual ZIBO,
30,
the official
20, 10.
What panel is above the cabin differential pressure gauge? 2 seconds, ZIBO, have a look. Who's this? Northern Lights, thank you. He says, hi Captain, have I got it right that the autopilot will not decrab when performing auto-landing crosswind? If so, how do you deal with that? Excellent question there, Northern Lights. You're quite right. In a failed passive autopilot system, automation system, which is how my operator has their autopilot auto-land feature fitted, it will not decrab. Now, the aircraft is capable of landing with crab, no problem, on a dry or wet runway. It's more preferable on a dry runway to decrab, otherwise you're going to put a lot of side load on the gear. So during the flare, if I'm doing an auto land in anger, so an IM sub is going to let it do its thing, and then as soon as I've touched down, use rudder to counteract that crab, but you shouldn't be touching anything during the auto land there. You kind of find yourself instinctively wanting to do it, but let it do its thing, and then as soon as you've touched down, apply the downwind rudder and you'll be fine. But great question, thank you very much for your donation there. Now, what was that ZIBO? What panel is above the cabin differential pressure gauge? ZIBO, my apologies. Is this changed? Now this looks a little bit more like the one we have. I can't believe ZIBO is here. ZIBO is very, very quiet, and like myself, keeps quiet here. But yes, ZIBO has not only added the voice recorder system, I believe ZIBO. I'm really having to try to compare it to the previous models. I think this is a new panel, but that looks like what we have here. We never press any of this here, and also you've got a new chime only button on here. It's looking very familiar, ZIBO. Awesome stuff, buddy. Well, thanks for updating it, making it a little bit more similar to what I'm used to. Amazing. When are you going to stop ZIBO making this better? I forgot to mention earlier on the test sector, it all went really well. There was nothing really that flagged up. One of the tiny things was at certain waypoints, approaching a waypoint, it started turning initially in the wrong direction and then right, but otherwise it was perfect. Lauren, what is fail active and passive in the Airbus? I've no idea how the Airbus system works or if there's any differences, but on the 737 you have a failed passive system, and all that essentially means is if one of the autopilot fails on an auto land, the aircraft is handed to you manually, the other one will disconnect and the aircraft's in trim for you to essentially go around. With a fail operational system, I don't know much about it, don't have it fitted, but I think you have an extra, not an extra autopilot, but the rudder, there's a rudder, the autopilot will put input onto the rudder to maintain center line, and you get a rollout feature after landing. But no, both aircraft, well, a fail passive auto-land system is fine for Cat 3A. A fail for Cat 3B, I think you need the rollout feature. I'm half guessing there with fail operational, not sure. O'Neill, can you show us where you connect the headphones on the 737? Yes. Has ZIBO got it modelled? No, he hasn't. What I'll try and do is when I go to work, get a picture. But there's a little headphone jack just here, just like you'd have in your Cessna 150. And I have a Bose A20 headset. You just plug it in. It's around there, and I loop my cable. I have a little clip on the Bose A20 there, which I can clip onto the guardrail, and then hanging below that's the little volume controls, the A20. But no, it just plugs in there. Just your standard mic and audio output cable. James, can you show us your field of view settings? 105, James Donlin, 105. Pad Pilot, hi Captain. Why do you manually tune a nav for takeoff but not during the cruise? Great question as well. Now, generally speaking, we don't tune nav aids en route. There's sort of no need. A lot of airspace now doesn't even have any en route navigational nav aids for you to tune. All are nav based now. The reason for departure, Pad Pilot, and again, they'll probably update this procedure in Cheers. This SOP has been as long as we've been operating the engine. My operator, so I've been here almost 10 years. And the amount of SIDs now, which are RNAV based, outweighs what is conventionally based. So traditionally, when RNAV was in its infancy, all SIDs and stars were based off ground-based navigational aids, so VORs, NDBs, and they build them based off this. But they're expensive to maintain, and we now have a fleet of satellites in space. And with the accuracy of the aircraft's onboard navigational systems, we can.
1,000 ago.
People that design the SIDs and stars can now utilise, or don't have to utilise the ground-based navigational aids. So you'll find now a lot of SIDs, we can't really tune up raw data. Now the reason we do that is in the event of an FMC failure, and we have got conventional-based navigation available. It's all tuned. We've got the courses and radials set there. We can simply flick this over to VOR. I probably use VOR Center, and I've got my radial straight away. We'd also advise ATC we're unable RNAV. Then can we fly direct to VOR? Or, in Europe, all the upper airways are radar controlled, so there's no problem getting vectors from ATC. You can get a vector all the way from departure to your arrival, from headings from ATC, if you really needed it. But yeah, that's the reason. En route, you can do. Some guys do it out of habit. There's absolutely no need to. So the next VOR is Cognac, Charlie November Alpha. You can tune that up if you so wish. just simply do exactly this as well. We have the exact operational flight plans at my operator, so we grab the charts, grab the frequency from the operational flight plan. We also have the airway charts on our iPads as well. Let's have a look here for Cognac, Charlie November Alpha, 1465, so we'll make that active, both sides. I'll show you how to navigate using radials as well, ladies and gentlemen. It's not something I've never done in the NG, but you can do. But there's Cognac, Charlie November Alpha, the needle swinging round, 92 miles to run there. Connor Martin, do you have to use meters on a flight? Nope. And I think even in Russia now they've converted to using feet, but you have the option to select meters. You can't get the MCP to fly meters though, so you'd have to convert it. We have got conversion tables available for that. Now let's imagine ATC gave us a bit of an unusual instruction. They said, I don't know, fly direct to Cognac. Let's give ourselves a sort of a decent radial here. Let's have a look on the centre display, it'll be easier. Let's imagine they said, okay, Alpaca 20 Kilo November, can you fly inbound to Cognac on the 160 radial? Very unusual instruction. So imagine they've said that. Let's go back here to the map. Now we need to put the reciprocal of 160. So you can just simply add 200 minus 20, which is 340. So if I put the course here to 340, switches to VOR, centre. Well, let's change it. Let's make it a little bit so we're already on it. So what we can do, we're on the 334 inbound at the moment, so the actual radial we're on is the 154. Now if I push Vorlock, the aircraft is now going to fly the radial, and this is how we're flying the FlyJSim 737-200s and the 727s here. Now the great thing about Vorlock is it will also respect the angular bank selector, so if you have that set to 10 degrees, it's the only other mode which will respect that. And then, actually, interestingly, if I set the course, look, if I change the course, look, the aircraft will turn left or right to fly that, and that's you can use it to fly radials. Now, I'll let ZIBO know, in Vorlock it should be respecting the angular bank selector, so you can see, look, it's actually banking at 20 degrees at the moment. Shouldn't be doing that, should be banking at 10. Yeah, never ever use that function in the real aircraft. Now, that's what I do. If we lost our nav capability, or if we lost both our flight management computers, that's what we'd be doing. Gino, what is the difference between Ortho Zoom level 17 and 16, and does it affect your storage as much? The big difference between Zoom level 17 and 16 at this altitude is nothing. So if you're going en route, I'd even go Zoom level 15. So if I was here at 36,000 feet and I wasn't landing in this area, I'd go Zoom level 15. And the difference in size between the tiles is huge. I think they basically approximately each time you go up a zoom level, you can quadruple the size of the file. Now I have all of Zoom level 17 set to Europe. It's a huge amount of tiles. It's 900 or so, around 5 terabytes it's stored, and it's great because it means I can fire up anywhere, and it looks great. Zoom level 17 close to the ground looks good as well. Once you start getting below 2,000 or 3,000 feet, if it's less than Zoom level 17, you'll notice the resolution. Zoom level 15 in the cruise is fine, but below 5,000 feet it looks very blurry. But no, up here, and it looks like we're flying over the Earth. It's incredible, really. One Zoom level 17 tile is around 2 gig. Is it 2 gig? Can't remember now. But generally, when I fly to a different part of the world, I'll download Zoom level 17 around the airport, and then 15 en route now. Lauren, the Airbus will auto-tune nav aids en route, so you're always ready in case of GPS failure, and reattunes the IRS and VOR data. Super useful. Well, that's Airbus for you. Not that... well, the NG is a bit older. I'm sure the 78, 777 and the 747-8 would be able to do that for you as well. Kian Orman, sorry, don't see it in the description. What is your cloud add-on? Don't apologise, sir. The clouds you see are Active Skies cloud textures. So Active Sky, the weather plugin, comes with a high-quality cloud texture set. They're the ones I'm using. Ridovi Gaming, I play FS 2004, and if I do IFR flights, the ATC gives me headings to fly, but I already have waypoints and airways. What should I do? That is a limitation, Ridvi, with the default ATC in the earlier generations of Microsoft Flight Simulator. It defaults to vectors. If you want to fly a particular approach, if I remember rightly, you can go in the menu and say what approach you want to fly, but there's not much you can do about that, Ridvi. It's just a limitation in the sim. Now, if you get a little bit more proficient and you keep practicing, you want to try out something like VATSIM, which has other people providing air traffic control for you, which provide an almost exact experience to what we'd be getting in real life. Waypoint Richie, hi everyone, 45 minutes in and already in the cruise. I was ready to go at the start of the stream. FMC all loaded, just did the checks here because we were all trying to, had about 6 or 7 aircraft trying to get out of Carcassonne at once, so just wanted to make sure I was ready to go. Brandon, do real pilots pay attention to the wind reports ATC gives when landing and departing? Absolutely, Brandon. Yes, I mean that is the reported wind we get on every takeoff and landing clearance is the one we're using. So when we have our limits, we have a 33 knot crosswind limit. If ATC's landing or takeoff, clear takeoff surface wind or clear to land surface wind, whatever he says is what we're working off. So if he gives us a wind which is in excess of any limitation, we'd have to either get him to give us another wind or we go around. So if he gave us a wind at 1,000 feet, if it's close to limits, we'd be asking for spot winds on the way down or surface reported wind. And if it was over limits at 1,000 feet, I'd still continue, unless obviously I've got a wind shear or anything like that. And then approaching minimums, I'd get another spot wind, and if he said it was still over limits, we'd go around. If it was below limits, I'd continue and attempt a landing. So yeah, we're very much listening to what he's saying. Technical Raccoon, have you ever flown the classic 737s? Nope, I've only ever flown the NG in real life. Matthew, auto-tuning with DME, DME doesn't always work. The RJ does that, but not usage of the GPS when we lost our IS position accuracy. Had to end up using VR navigation only. Sounds like you've lost IRS then or something. IRS was off by 300 miles. That is quite a bit. Well, the IRS, Matthew, by the way, everyone's a CRJ pilot who's popped into the channel a few times. The IRS does drift over time, guys. Usually after a long sector, I'll do a quick alignment, but it's usually within 5 or 6 miles. But the FMS uses a whole host of information to update its position. Dave, if you have time, could you read your Discord DMs? Nothing to worry about. I'll have a look, Dave. I check my DMs daily and respond to any queries as soon as possible. Memes have feelings says, do you know how to fly the 747-400? I'd like to think if I found myself in one, I could get it down, but I'm not type rated. I don't have any experience flying a real aircraft, but I'd like to think if someone sat me down and said open your eyes, land, I could get it down, I hope. Guru, got to go, local time 10:23 PM. Good evening, I think you're... I can't remember if you're India, Guru, or KN, or somewhere around there, but yes, getting a little late in that part of the world. Good night, thank you so much for tuning in at this late hour for you. Oliver Tomlinson, Captain, you should do a 747 flight with the MS Sparks mod. Now, is this the mod for the default Microsoft Flight Simulator 747? I have heard of it before, and I'll have a look into it perhaps. Pan says, IRS, I thought they always knew where you were. Which IRS are you referring to? Cool. Right. Approaching Shala, these are things all familiar to me. There we are. There's the train going into Knock. So we'll keep an eye on this, see if we get the ATC and Knock later. It's a procedural airport anyway, no radar available. We've got a couple of aircraft, well, I'm guessing one aircraft ahead. This aircraft's very low. They'll need to separate here because you have to backtrack in Knock. You'll need a good distance between everyone on final. I was really hoping to build this into a 2-sector day, but because it was a kind of giveaway, I want to finish in knock. But I assure you, we haven't done a 2-sector day in quite a while, so yeah, next time go in the mod or a different aircraft, we'll knock out a 2-sector. Plainly, your visual reference would probably be very off in the 7.4 because of the huge height difference. You're right, I'd be very reliant on the run-out call-outs, that's for sure. But yeah, you're much higher up. Taylor, hi Captain, please can you educate me on when you would use the centre pump fuel knob? I know we exercise it during pre-flight, just curious when it would be used. Now, we're not actually moving the fuel pumps on and off. The crossfeed we do. So the crossfeed valve allows you to... You can't move fuel from one tank or another in the 737. It doesn't work like that. But what you can do is feed... you know, let's imagine if we turned... Let's open the crossfeed valve, right dim. Turn these pumps off now. So all we're doing now, we're feeding both engines from the left tank by turning the right pumps off, so only fuel coming in from 3.6 now, with the centre tank pumps off, that is, so that would be off now. That's an interesting configuration to have at this phase. So the only time we'd use this if there's imbalance. We'd never operate the switches just haphazardly like this as well, but during the pre-flight what we do is check the crossfeed valve operates correctly, and to make sure it operates correctly is to open it. That light goes bright and then dim. The bright tells us it's in transit, the dim light tells us it's open, and vice versa, dim to bright and off. Now if there's an issue with the lights, or the lights don't come up correctly, or it doesn't go bright, we've got an issue with the crossfeed fuel system, and we'll need to contact engineering to get that rectified prior to dispatch. And there's been issues in the past where, you know, misuse of the crossfeed valve, or certainly if you had I think there was a case where there was an engine failure and this bulb had blown and there wasn't a spare bulb, and the valve wasn't actually open and they got a big fuel imbalance, so you've got to be quite careful with that. So in the event of an engine failure, you're only going to be feeding one engine from its respective tank, so we want to open the crossfeed valve, balance the fuel as soon as possible, but yeah, we don't use it that often. But the centre tank fuel pumps, if there's fuel in the centre tank in excess of, say, 400-500 kilos, we'd have to pack the pumps on for departure, or over a ton. If you leave them on with less than 500 kilos, there's a risk that you'll get a master caution on the takeoff, and fuel and low pressure on the centre pumps. You don't want to be doing an RTO because of that. Brandon, have you ever flown an aircraft in full motion sims? I've been fortunate to jump into an Airbus full motion sim. I've got a friend of mine who showed me there. I had a very quick go, but it was very, very brief. Very brief. ELJ4S, you can get METAR from Active Sky conditions, India, Echo India Kilo November. It's not the actual METAR though from NOC India Echo or LJ4S, can never I'm about to say your name. It's just an interpolation of the surrounding weather. It's not the actual METAR. There's no METAR at NOC at the moment because the airport, I believe, is closed. But yes, that's Active Sky's sort of interpolation of the weather and the wind it's giving us the situation. Now looking at nearby airports, Donegal has a 26 knot wind, Dublin is quite light now at 10 knots from the south, Shannon gusting 38, so it's quite varied, the wind around there. Connor Martin, worst turbulence you've ever experienced? Connor, over the Alps once. I was still a first officer. I can't remember where we were flying to. It was somewhere in Greece, and it was pretty rough. It was borderline severe. I mean, it was severe to the point the autopilot disconnected. It was really struggling. The speed was up and down 20 knots side to side. It came from nowhere as well. Now, we'd already ascended to a lower level. I think we were at a 3.6 or 3.70. We'd gone down to 3.20 just to increase the margins because everyone was reporting moderate severe turbulence in this area. And, we sort of knew it was coming, but not to the point where it was. And I'd never seen anything like it. The speed went from, let's imagine we're cruising at 320, went from here right up to the clacker, into the clacker by about 20 knots, and then went all the way down here to the minimum manoeuvre margin in the space of about 5 seconds, and we lost about 300 feet. And we'd already sat the cabin crew down because of the turbulence being light, and we knew this was coming. Autopilot disconnected, lost 300 feet. Speed was in the clacker down there. I don't know what G we went down to, probably about 0.3, 0.4, but yeah, it felt like you were floating. But yeah, we just reported it to ATC, re-engaged, flew back up to 360, re-engaged the automation, and filed a report, and that was it. But yeah, severe turbulence is extremely rare. We report it as that because we were unable to maintain altitude for a short period, and severe turbulence requires engineering action. I have to inspect the aircraft, but it was pretty gnarly. I wasn't enjoying that day much, but that is very rare. Those sort of days, it was sort of like a mountain wave. But yeah, that's the worst. And I remember it not fondly, but vividly. Guess the mystery, a beluga flew into Shannon today. That's really cool.
50, 40,
Thanks
30,
a lot, Tim.
20, 10.
Very cool.
You have to love that new car. Truck smell delivery truck, tears of joy.
Oh, thank you very much, Tim. I don't know why it's not reading the entire message. What is wrong with Microsoft Jane here? I only read the last sentence, but I got the first bit. I get to pick up my 21 plate truck up tomorrow. Tomorrow, you have to just love that new car truck smell. Sounds very good there, Tim. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot for your donation. Very kind. And I hope you have fun driving your truck. Make sure you send a picture over onto Discord. We'd like to see what it looks like. Very, very cool. Oh, did I leave the centre tank fuel pumps off? Whoops. In my fuel demonstration. Yes, there we go. I'll bet that poor fuel in the centre tank's not going to be burned. Thanks, who that was that spotted that. Aristocrats, I think someone else as well. How do you get version 349.3 of the ZIBO mod? Well, I've been involved with the ZIBO mod providing feedback for over 2 years, so I often get copies of pre-release versions to sort of test prior to release as well from ZIBO directly. So no doubt after touchdown or during this stream, he'll push 349.3, and I'd recommend updating to this version because as far as I can see, it's all working fine. But be warned, one of the things that did change with this one, it changed the position of the CG again slightly, so all my views were out. So if you update the aircraft and you find your views like this, you just have to reassign your views slightly. Because I did it and it was like that, I was like, oh damn, I have to just do it. But it literally takes 2 minutes. Kitty system now going to land 1 to 2 minutes before you. Have you got your foot down, Kitty? Now, depending on the situation of ATC, we'll have a look. I might pop offline. Again, it's nothing. I don't want to do that to be boring. It's just that airports like this, which are procedurally based anyway, there's no ATC. We're not going to kind of get the benefit apart from us flying on top of each other, which will could ruin it there. But there, what can we do? Simon Helliman, why do some 737s have different fuel displays? Great question. So, they've just been updated over time, so we have the updated one, which has a more digital format. If you'd like to see the original one, you can change that in the ZIBO mod. It has a plethora of different variants available for you to choose and customise. So if I can remember where to find it, it is configure settings, displays and variants, systems. Staring me in the face. Fuel gauge side by side. There we are. That's looking a little bit more conventional. So yeah, I just sort of set whatever's sort of working for me at the time. the last NGs out of the factory from Boeing had the digital display like this. I actually prefer the old one. Mitch says, do you know VATSIM? Well, I'm on VATSIM. I've used it for many years. Kenny Wells, big fan, subscribe, left a like. Thank you very much, Kenny. Welcome to the channel. Sacco, anything's a cloud shadow flickering? No, unfortunately, well, it seems to be okay at the moment, but I get these cloud flickers in X-Plane all the time. I think it's just a limitation with NVIDIA graphics cards, but no, there's no flickering going on at the moment. That's more luck than anything. I've not done anything. Nicholas Pilot, why does the cockpit look 2D? What cockpit are you looking at? Looks pretty 3D to me. There you go. Sweet. Right, there's Manak coming up. Nice routing today. Make a slight right turn over the Cherbourg Peninsula. I think we're flying just west of the Channel Islands. We're going to cross over Plymouth, Cardigan Bay. I didn't actually know it was called that. And then the Irish Sea, and then Knox around here somewhere. Well, I'll have to show you if my map worked. This airport is in the middle of nowhere. I think it's only served by Ryanair, but tiny little airport. 2 stands. I think Aer Lingus have some flights out of there as well. I think they do flights. Some flights go transatlantic from there, I believe. I don't know if they're scheduled. Thank you very much, HMS Daring 1. Have you been a member of the past? I can't remember. No, you've got a brand new epaulette, but if you've just joined, thank you very much. Welcome to the channel. Glad you are enjoying the content. And welcome to Team Green. And you get an invite to our private members only Discord. Enjoy your custom emojis usage in chat as well. Thank you. Kenny Wells, like the 737 plate, it is cool. Thank you. Pad Pilot, hi Captain. When you're checking on the recall check, it happens so fast, I assume you're not checking individual captions. That is correct, Pad Pilot. I'll show you how it works. So when we push the recall button, any illuminated master caution light after we've let go will keep the master caution light up with the corresponding system. So as an example, let's put the probes off, okay? So we now have some amber lights here, okay? Now I'll reset it here because obviously it'll come up there. Now if I push recall, let go, you'll see the master caution light stays illuminated and it says anti-ice. And with that we'd have a look here. Why have we got the anti-ice lights on? Oh look, I left the probe heats on, and then we can push it. It's reset the system. So the recall check is literally just pushing that button in. Any illuminated amber light will keep the master caution light on, and that's how the system works. PGI, hi, I'm new, just subbed. Thank you very much. Welcome to the channel, buddy. Corey, did you know that Knock Airport was built without planning permission by a priest in the 80s? I had no idea, really? My goodness me. I think it's quite a religious part of Ireland. It's a Catholic around there. I don't want to upset anyone by saying that, but I don't really know. Yeah, it's got a Cat 2 though. They have Cat 2 lighting and a Cat 2 approach available. Kenny Wells getting Microsoft Flight Simulator. Very good. Enjoy. Great sim. Enjoy the fantastic graphics. Paul Emerson, can you explain the difference between an aspirated tap probe option, please? Now, let me try and think about this. We, from the flight deck, can't tell. There's no indication that we have an unaspirated or aspirated probe. If I remember rightly, it's something to do with the bleed air or some air goes through it. Basically, you can get an indication in excess of 99 degrees without it. As an operational point of view for us, there's no change at all, and you have to have the packs on or something for the temperature to be correct there. But we don't reference that temperature on the ground here. We only reference what ATC tells us, or the ATIS. It uses bleed air in some way to keep the temperature of the actual road cool on the ground. But no, there's no guidance in the FCOM, I believe, explains how that system works. Kenny Wells, can you do a landing, or can you do a video where you land in Malta? We've been to Malta a few times, but it's been a very long time since we visited. However, Kenny Wells, if you are interested, and especially as we have some new viewers today, I'm putting a command in here for Nightbot. There's a link here to a map, which should come up in chat now very shortly, and that will show you every single live stream to date where we've flown into, and it's you can search by looking up airport, ICAO codes, IATA codes. I've grouped them all into all the different aircraft types we've flown as well, and if you type in Mike Lima Alpha for Malta, you'll see the streams we've done in and out of Malta. You might even find the aircraft or a place that we've flown into before as one of your favourite destinations. But yeah, I've been keeping that going for the last few years or so. It's very easy for me to update just every sector there. It's getting very full in Europe, that's for sure. Yeah, I think that's Matthew Presley. I think that's the whole idea of the aspirated probe. You know, it'll give you an accurate temperature reading for the outside air temperature essentially. But yeah, if it's not that, it'll say 99 degrees because it'll get warm. But we don't reference it ever. Ollie Crocking just got home, flew out of knock a few years ago, and you have to pay €10 for the privilege as a development fee before you pass through security. Really? Very cool. Hi Stephen Turley, thank you very much for your recent membership to the channel as well. Did you manage to get into our Discord okay? I haven't checked your arrival yet, but he says, good evening, sorry, late to the stream, no problem buddy. Tried flying the ZIBO in VR yesterday, absolutely incredibly immersive. Unfortunately very unusable, however. Have you tried Track IR? I've never tried VR in the ZIBO mod. I have heard it's amazing, and some of the guys love flying using VR. I haven't tried Track IR, and it's something I'm seriously thinking of investing in. Especially when flying sort of tricky approaches in the ZIBO mod, because I think it's very easy to disable and enable. Because right now you wouldn't want Track IR on, but one of the limitations is as I move my head around to look at the stream chat, well, I mean, on the approach that wouldn't be such an issue, but I was doing the stream in Euro Truck Simulator the other day and I thought Track IR could have been a bit more useful in there. But I've already thought, guys who follow the second channel, our next episode of Euro Truck Simulator, for those members that watched last time, or regular viewers, we had to visit every UK destination and I made no money. Next stream I'm going to try and make £100,000 in one stream. That's what I'm going to try and do. Try and find some lucrative jobs. I don't know how long that will take, but it could be fun. Plainly, great question by Lawrence Draper. Let's have a look, Lawrence. Sorry I missed that. I'm trying to read them all. There we are. Have you ever flown a 737 without winglets? Does it fly differently? I haven't, Lawrence. I've only ever flown them with winglets. I have spoken to a captain years ago who we got into conversation about it, and I remember him saying without winglets it does make quite a big difference, especially with a strong crosswind. I mean, if you take the surface area of that winglet, it's like this holding up a barn door. You know, it's quite big. You imagine trying to hold that metal winglet up in a strong wind, you'd fall over. And he said the difference, I think, the difference between crosswind limitations was around 8-9 knots. I think there's an operator which has it without the winglets, and they can land it up to 45 knot crosswinds or something. But yeah, in crosswind conditions, I think it is not experienced it myself. Just going as a messenger here, it does make a big difference. Steve Mayer, Boss Track IR is worth it. All right, I'll look into that. But no, that was a great question by Lawrence Draper. Kenny, what is your favourite game? Mine is Microsoft Flight Simulator. I quite like X-Men 11. But if we would say games, well, I don't really have a favourite game. I love so many games I play. Aviation Mayhem, what's the max crosswind limit for the 800? Will it differ from the max with the bigger engines? On the 800 we have a 33 knot crosswind limit, and I believe for the max it will be changing. We are going to be getting maxes, and it will have a different crosswind limitation, but we haven't been given a figure yet. So we use 33 for the NG. It won't be too much difference. John Padfield, you better lay off the fines then. I know, I'd be really careful. But I was looking, you can get some sort of these contracts in the game for like £30,000. So all I need to do is sort of 3 of those in the period of, what, 3 hours or so, would be grand. Stefan, you managed to get back into the Discord. Definitely would suggest Tracker. Very easy to map a key to disable and enable it. Mine was quite expensive though, imported from the US. I've no doubt someone in Discord will link me to a suitably priced one, which won't have to necessarily come from the US. I mean, TrackIR is years old. I remember TrackIR being a thing when
40,
I was starting to
30,
sim.
20,
When I was
10.
15, 20 years ago. Thanks a lot, John.
Something strange happened to me the other day.
Microsoft Jane, what is wrong with you? Finish the goddamn sentence. I'll look into why Microsoft Jane is only saying that half of it. Let me just try and reboot it, John, one more time.
50, 40, 30, 20,
Let's see what happens.
10.
Something strange happened to me the other day.
She changed how she said it, but she didn't finish the sentence. Anyway, Joe, thank you very much for the £5. Very kind. Something strange happened to me the other day. I was flying the A321 and found myself missing the ZIBO. What happened to me? John, welcome. Welcome to that Boeing bug. Everyone wants to have. Nothing's happening to you, John. That is completely normal. Thank you very much for your donation. That was very, very kind. And thank you for the continued support as well. ZIBO, everyone always yearns ZIBO mod after a short while. Mr. Andrex, why didn't you start in cold and dark? Very, very rare for me to do that. So, the main reason, as I mentioned at the start of the stream, Mr. Andrex, was the fact I was leaving Carcassonne, and Carcassonne is a very small airport with only a few stands here, and inevitably it was quite busy because people join me, and I have no problem with that whatsoever, but I didn't want to get stuck in that rush of people leaving where there's no ATC and also a backtrack is required for departure. So had I been even number 3 or number 4 for departure, we would have been sat on the ground 15-20 minutes, which is fine. I have no problem with that, but we try and keep the stream flowing as realistically as possible. So I did just start ready to go, but I promise you most streams will always start from cold and dark. FH, this is fake. We're not a real 737. Deload, what is the arrival star and runway? I'm expecting, I think, a Gakpo 1 Alpha for runway 26. But I believe it could be favouring 08, which would be an RNAV approach. There's an ILS onto 26, RNAV approach for 08, VOR approach. Clive Reynolds, where is the air intake for the APU? What is the purpose of the little arrow-shaped handle? Well, if you're asking the purpose of the arrow-shaped handle, you probably know where it is. Interesting. Right, anyway, I'll show you both. There is... I can't really get there as well. There we go. So there is the APU inlet door. You can see it's closed at the moment here, but the arrow slows the wind down. So if you were to start the APU in flight, you'd need to slow that air down for it to be ingested or intaked by the APU there. But you knew the shape of the arrow, wasn't sure where it was, but there it is. There it is there. Kenny, have you ever flown a plane? Yes. No, Toron, have you ever tried a helicopter sim? I haven't. Hello Akeem Zero, hope you're doing well. Hello Captain Monster as well. Connor Martin, is the taxi light for takeoff landing a mandatory SOP or is it just preference? It's an SOP we use, Connor, my operator, once we get our takeoff clearance and landing clearance as a sort of a visual reminder. Now, I'm very upset that Microsoft Jane is not speaking the full lingo here. Why is that? Is that a limitation in Microsoft or in Streamlabs, I wonder? I'll try and fix it after the stream. There we go. Not sure. Excellent. Miss Jane is on strike. Possibly, possibly. Anthony, have you ever sold a chicken? Yes. I've flown a plane and sold a chicken. Harry P, how often would you do a non-precision approach on the line? Now, obviously if you're based somewhere which has only non-precision approaches, you'll do them quite often, but destination-wise, I'd say, departing from my base in the UK, yeah, I'd say on average 1 a month, maybe 2 a month. Most places still have ILS. It really depends on where you're flying into. What's the prevailing wind and something, but in a typical year, yeah, a dozen in normal times if we're flying sort of 80 plus hours in the summer. Hello, Mr. Anderson from The Matrix, I guess. Hello everyone from Moscow. How are you doing? Very well, thank you. Brandon M, any CRJ streams planned? I haven't. What is the current situation with the Aerosoft CRJ and Microsoft Flight Simulator? I think someone mentioned it's broken at the moment from a Microsoft Flight Simulator update. I might be completely wrong on that. Don't know, but no, we're going to probably jump into Microsoft Flight Simulator again soon. My last flight in Microsoft Flight Simulator, where we flew the Seminole, was quite popular. Quite a lot of people watched that. Where we did some basic IR flying, so I might do some sort of bumble in IFR flying in a some Seminole or something there. Pad Pilot, longing to see you attempt the approach to Power RO Bhutan. You've not seen the approach, Pad Pilot? Have you not watched the stream? We've done a stream into Pyro, and we flew the really tricky approach down the valley, probably one of the hardest I've ever done in the desktop sim. And in the Microsoft Flight Sim 2020 landing challenges by SoFly. That one doesn't count. Kitty says ATC's online. Okay, cool. Let's have a look here. Is that an online sector or? I haven't had a ding from anyone. Seems all quiet at the moment here. Oliver, Captain, his flights are getting back. Have you been rostered any? Yes, I have. I have 3 flights on my roster. 2 destinations in Spain and 1 in the Canary Islands. I won't disclose all the destinations, but yes, I'll be flying at the end of the month. My first flight in a couple months. My first passenger flight, scheduled passenger flight since November. The only flights I've done this year are what we call these preservation flights, these ghost flights, which I covered in a recent tutorial. If you're interested in looking up how we conduct ghost flights, may I find the link for that? You might find that interesting, ladies and gentlemen. I think it was the second to last tutorial I recorded. To make another tutorial soon. But yes, first passenger flight at the end of the month. Very excited to get back and fly again. And as I mentioned many times before, just running these streams of the mod has really helped keep my mind fresh. So when I was doing the practice sector earlier, I was just reading the manual, some of the memos and changes which have changed since I last flew. Now with the COVID pandemic, you have to be quite careful with rules and regulations from which country you're flying to. I've got to make sure I have the required tests complete after duty as well. So it'll keep you busy. But no, I've just shared the link to the 10-minute ghost flight tutorial I made recently. These are the only flights I've conducted this year. I've done 3 of those. Stefan Malcolm, looks like Eurocontrol is online. Yeah, I can see that online. I've not had a ding from anyone on VATSIM for ATC. Just a lot of aircraft close to each other, flying en route. Yeah, I think I'm just outside their area, maybe. Samuel CV, I have gap code last point, which is only for runway 26, so we have a tailwind on approach close to circling minima according to active Sky XP's interpolation. Now, the RNAV approach there, I think, takes you... I don't think it's over the field. I'm not sure how you get onto the RNAV approach into. I'm just having a look at the charts. RNAV approach for 08. No, they probably route you to Odlum. You probably go to Odlum from the south if the RNAV approach was. I'm just going to have a look at Active Sky and see what winds they're giving me as well. It can vary. Oh, I've got it minimised. Hold on, let me try and find it. So Active Sky map and knock interpolated weather then. So it's given me 033 at 5 knots. So for 27, it's a 3 knot. It's a 3 knot tailwind. So they probably just land on 27 anyway. Light rain overcast at 1800 feet, scattered 1000. So yeah, I don't think it's as gentle as 5 knots in real life. I mean, it's just taking an interpolation of the surrounding winds. It could be close. I mean, has anyone got the actual kind of windy app? Someone said it was 5 knots there, so yeah, it might be that it's died down loads, but I'd probably land on 2.6 with that tailwind. It's a 3 knot tailwind. Not going to have any issues there. Oh, that's having an issue though. Look at that. God, it's not going to be on the nose. Flight time was 2 hours 10 to be fair. 66 knot headwind. Blech. Matthew pressed the link and it took me to a tutorial. Yes, that's what I was mentioning. There's a tutorial on how to conduct a 10-minute ghost flight. Cash Monster, where's Mariner? God knows, playing Valorant, no doubt. Can't get off the blasting thing. AV have tried to stay ahead of the pack of the TBM. Oh my, you're going to be going flat out in that thing. Oh yes, you want that, well done. Northern Lights, great question. Will you need to go to the simulator before the upcoming flights, or have you managed to get enough takeoff and landings lately with the Ghost Lights? Sorry if you already mentioned and I missed it. No problem at all, Northern Lights. We have discussed it recently. I am actually in the sim in a few days' time for my regulatory 3 takeoff and landings in 90 days. It's not required, but what the airline are doing is rostering you frequently anyway, just in case it wasn't the case. But no, I last flew 2 months ago, and I did 3 of those ghost flights in the space of 3 days. But no, I've got the sim in a few days' time, my 3 takeoffs and landings, and because I've been doing my these flights, when I do my first passenger flight, it is what we call, well, I won't say exactly, but it's basically a flight with a training captain. If you don't fly, my operator, we have our own specific rules which are a little bit more stricter than the regulatory requirements, but if you haven't flown for over 45 days, a scheduled passenger flight, you have to fly with a training captain on the right hand seat. So my first flight, I'll be in the left hand seat, and in Jim's seat will be a training captain, and it's just a normal day. It's not a formal check or anything like that. We just fly 2 sectors, as long as he's satisfied and I still are about to operate the aircraft, he'll sign you off and then off I go. So yeah, thankfully everything's still valid. I won't need a line check, which is an annual check, until my actual line check expires, which is in a couple of months, and my sim check is due in 4 months' time. Thank you, Alan, who actually I think got a I think this is a, no, is this an interpolated weather from NOC, or is this an actual METAR from NOC? probably isn't too far off that though. 290 at 12. I'm not getting any official METAR though, unfortunately. So I'm just going to have to go off what Active Sky's interpolated it as. Connor Martin, why did they tell you what the failure is going to be in the sim? Wouldn't it be better for it to be unexpected and see how you react? They don't tell us, Connor Martin. They don't tell us at all. But in the training side of things, they do. So if we're training for wind shear escape, they actually would prefer it, they told us, so then before we do the manoeuvre, we can show and demonstrate that we know the items for the wind shear escape, and then they'll give it to us. But for the training session, we have a whole session called a loft, which stands for line orientated flight training, and we have no idea what's coming up. It could be anything from an engine failure to a gear issue to a depressurization. So yeah, we don't know what's coming. ELG for us, I think OFP says you should be doing Mach decimal 79, does it? Uh, 7879, yeah, alright. 7879. That's quite interesting actually, because there might be a slight difference between what the cost index I have selected in route, which is 30, and what Lido generates. Now on our operational flight plans in real life, whatever cost index you put in is off the flight plan, which means the speeds are exactly the same. Slight discrepancy there, so we're running a little bit slower, and I'd think with that headwind we'd actually have a slightly higher Mach number, 78700, which I don't think the mod's taken into account. Not sure. Right then guys, I'm just going to have a very quick break, 5 minutes, get myself a drink because my drink is empty. And when I get back, we'll start having a little bit of a think of the approach to knock. If you are enjoying the show so far, don't forget to smash the thumbs up button, subscribe as well, and I'll see you all in about 5 minutes. I'll put you in the external flypass view. See you in a sec, guys. Uh-oh, ATC's called apparently. I just checked my mobile and you're like, ATC, ATC. Oh dear. Jim, where were you? Thanks for that though, guys, much better. Right, turn that off. Got the frequency. Where were you, he'll say. Now my radio tuning panel's completely frozen. Actually nothing working on my radio tuning panel. Why is no click? What? Don't tell me it broke it. Oh no 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 no! What? All right. Every time I move the radio, it freezes the entire sim. Are you watching this, guys? Look, it's frozen, and now it's unfrozen. Look, I'll do it one more time. Try and scroll it. The whole sim freezes like it's about to crash every time I try and change the frequency. What the hell? What do I do? What do I do? Did you see that? Look, every time I press a button on the radio, transfer button, look, sim's frozen, I'm trying to move. And now it flicked over, but it's freezing the sim every time I do it. I can't. That's really interesting. I'm not... I'm going to have to log out. What's causing that? Have you ever seen that before, guys? Unplug peripheral. Do you reckon it's the radio tuning panel? Let me try it. I don't want... Hold on, before we do anything, guys. Quick save. Save. Right. Use the plugin tab and change mouse wheel. Can you change it in export? No, the I've got the radio tuning panel. It's completely broken, but watch what happens. Look, when I try and press a button on here, change the radio. Look, the whole sim's completely frozen. Whole sim freezes for about 6 seconds. Uh-oh. Oh no. There we go. it's you can force it. Xpilot type .com 12345. Is that X? Let me just disconnect from VATSIM here for a second. No, it's not Xpilot related. I've just closed Xpilot down. This is Xplane 11 related. There we are, and then eventually transfers. Change to the newer radio panel in ZIBO. Oh dear. Okay, I'm fine. Marianne has come to my rescue to see if I've forgotten how to do something. Yeah, I've got a problem with the I'm just gonna. I wonder if it's this unplugged. Yeah, I'm gonna try the Logitech radio tuning panel. I'll plug it and see if it's that. Oh dear, which one is it? No, that was lucky. Let me just try it. I've turned that off. No, it's ZIBO. Look, it's not the radio tuning panel, guys. Look, it's frozen, and then it changes. So literally every time I change the frequency, it freezes the entire sim for 2 seconds. Let's try box 2. Alright, box 2 seems to be working. It's box 1. Box 1 is broken. Look, try it one more time. Press the button. Look, whole sim's frozen. Completely frozen. And then it changes. It's weird. That's really... I've never, ever, ever seen that before. Oh, I think I'm just going to go offline. And I know... No, now why is ZIBO turning left? Turn right, turn right. That's really, really weird. I've never seen that happen before. Well, I don't know who the ATC controller was, if it was, and someone was watching the stream to provide ATC. Apologies, but there's some really weird going on with... Well, it's not the Logitech radio tuning panel, because I've just turned that off. It's not that at all. You could change it with Xpilot. I don't want to jump into Xpilot to change frequencies though. It's got a second window and I have to turn it all up. And then I think that's at the settings page. But it's not, guys, this is not Xpilot. This has nothing to do with VATSIM. It's the radio tuning panel. I don't even have Xpilot on at the moment. Look, every time I turn this, look, it changed there, but it freezes the sim every time I change the radio tuning panel. There we are. And again, every time I touch it, completely freezes Xplane 11. And now it's going... Look, I'm not touching anything now. I'm literally not touching anything. There we are. And then it just freezes. So something is wrong with either ZIBO nothing. This is nothing to do with Xpilot. Xpilot is not working. It's nothing to do with Logitech. The Logitech radio tuning panel is off. This is something wrong with the radio tuning panel here. I mean, it was working earlier. I tuned up Unicom 122.8. Nav panel okay. Let's have a look. No, nav panel's broken. I've just tried to change the frequency here. I'm not going to be able to tune the ILS. So I think this is ZIBO mod related. So I can't tune nav 1 and I cannot tune nav 2. Look, if I push the transfer button, it completely crashes. It'll change over. It's working, but it takes around 4 seconds. And it's VHF 1 and nav 1. ADF seems fine. So it's basically VHF 1 and nav 1 is broken. My radio and nav 1 box. That is very unusual. I've never ever seen that. ZIBO, if you're still here, could you do some digging? And of course, on the test sector, I didn't log on to VATSIM, so I wouldn't know. Damn. That is very weird. Mini Robin, what version of the ZIBO are you flying right now? 346.3 with a dodgy radio. That's a very weird bug though. What does the QRH say about plane freezing? Matthew Gabrielle, I know you're very active, very excited. Your comments are coming in thick and fast and random, so just keep it a little bit calm there, buddy. What happens if you select VHF 1 in box 2? Actually a really good idea. I wonder if that's modelled. Oh, look, now it's crashed this. No, it's basically changing VHF 1 frequencies. Yeah. So, that was a really good suggestion. You can basically control either radio from either respective or opposite radio panel tuning boxes. But something's messing around with the radio, nav 1 and nav 2. Look, we'll crack on offline. The reason is, you know, Connaught's or NOC is it's a procedural airport anyway. I've obviously got a bug with the radio, and it's just going to cause issues if I try it. Matt Burgess, toggle Xpilot plugin on and off. Matt, I don't think it has anything to do with Xpilot. I've got Xpilot off at the moment. I'll try it. I mean, let me just turn it off. So Xpilot's now not on here. Yeah, look, nothing to do with Xpilot, guys. This is something unique to the mod, I think. Yeah, so this is an issue with the ZIBO mod, I'm pretty sure. Nothing to do with Xpilot. My Logitech radio tuning panel is off. I've just tried turning it back on, but it hasn't actually illuminated for some reason. But no, very strange. Is the MCP working? Yeah, MCP seems okay. It's just VHF 1. Shouldn't do that, by the way. It's just VHF 1 and nav 1. That's going to be interesting trying to tune the ILS frequency, because every time I change or move the radio tuning panel, it freezes. Can you tune the ILSs on Jim's side? Yes, I think so. Everything on the right side is working fine. Now, what is the ILS into NOC? Actually, not too far away. Oh, that's such a big shame. Still got away. 228 miles. Get off that page. What's the code here? Good year. Kilo number. What a strange bug. I've never seen that ever. Gemco 1 Alpha. So frequency is 1107. Okay, look, I just need to change this. Look, once, right, I flicked it 3 times, so maybe it will go to 114. No, every time I do it, look, it freezes the sim. I'm gonna get there eventually. Uh-oh, I've broken it. I'm not touching it. This was so broken. Oh dear. Frozen again. 113. Just 2 more. And then to transfer it as well. Oh, God. 1107 transfer, and I shouldn't need to touch it again. There we go. So every time I change the frequency or push the transfer window button, it freezes the entire sim for 5 or 6 seconds. Very strange. Mirchar, you'll get kicked off VATSIM. Yeah, I'm not staying on VATSIM. I'm offline now. I can't stay offline with this problem. That's going to be a big issue, anyone following me. Anyway. Oh, ZIBO asked you something. ZIBO, are you sure it's not X-Pilot? Nothing changed with radio panel in the last 3 months. ZIBO, I don't know. X-Pilot is completely off and disabled in the plugin now. So X-Pilot's disabled and X-Pilot's not running in the background at all. I'll double check. Yeah, it's literally the only thing I have running right now is Active Sky and X-Plane 11. That is it. And Fly Live. I will jump into another aircraft at the end of a stream and see if it's doing it with that aircraft. But when I was testing this version here, I didn't check the radio panel. Planning, try changing to multi-mode receiver. Let's have a go. I don't have the Logitech radio tuning panel on at the moment, which is not compatible with that. Look at this flight deck 2 fix or bug finding. No hardware. Let's try it. Yeah, ZIBO, it's not letting me change this. It's doing the same thing when I try and transfer. Yeah, look, massive freeze. So look, just zooming out, press the button, freezes. And then it comes alive. So yeah, every time I change VHF1 or NAV1, it is completely freezing it, regardless of the radio tuning panel. Let's go back to the regular radio. Yeah, that's fine. Interesting, not to worry. Look, we've got the ILS tuned. We'll go offline. It could be something that's not ZIBO related. It could be something wrong with X-Plane. I have no idea. I've never seen that ever in X-Plane 11 before. Good suggestion though, Plane. Need to try the other one there. Does the AFD box crash if you switch it on the AFD? What's AFD? Cat. Interesting. Andy, it's only Radio Boss. You've landed worse. Yes, I've landed with the mouse once. Could it be the selection panel on the overhead panel? No, I mean, yeah, I guess you're thinking of the VHF switch, but no, should be fine. Very unusual. Never seen that before. Darkspan, which gives better FPS, X-Plane 11 fully modded or Flight Sim 2020? Well, X-Plane 11 is obviously a little bit older, so it's going to be more FPS friendly. Stefan, when it's just the radios, yeah, very strange. ZIBO, do you have it connected to any hardware related to the radio panel? I do, but I have that turned off. I've even pulled out the USB ZIBO, so I don't know if I have to reset X-Plane 11 perhaps for it to recognise that, but I've actually unplugged the Logitech radio tuning panel, which I've had for a few months. Try MMR for nav frequency, says ZIBO, you're the boss. Let's have a look. Yeah, changing the mode's freezing it as well. So I'm zooming out at the moment, so when it comes back it should be like, there we go. I'll try again. Oh, GLS fine. Right, okay, switching to GLS didn't seem to upset it, but changing to VOR, back to, yeah, changing to GLS isn't an issue, but going to VOR and ILS does freeze it, look. And now, try this again. Yeah, zooming out now is not doing anything, so as soon as it comes back it should zoom out. Let me just check if it's actually freezing the sim and it's just not the radio, so look at the clouds moving. Let me just push the button. Yeah, look, it's freezing the whole of X-Plane, look. And then it... There we go, now frozen now. Very strange. Only VHF1 and NAV1. Anyway, let's not worry about that. There's clearly an issue. Whether it's personally sim-related, not sure, never seen that before. What we'll do is just get 1107 active, which it is. I'm going to revert to the old radio tuning panel because I know that this one isn't compatible with the Logitech radio tuning panel. So, put that to no. I don't need to change that. While flying, we'll have that frequency set there. And hopefully, the time we next stream, we'll get to the bottom of what the issue is. I have never seen that before. Yeah, if no one's having this issue on point 3, there's going to be something my side, but never mind. IMATAMs, do the RNAV to avoid the frequency. Well, the problem with doing a non-precision approach here, even the RNAV, we don't have an accurate QNH because there's no METAR here, so I'm actually sort of really wanting to fly the ILS. I hope it works. We'll just save it before the approach there. And what I might do is I actually have the earlier version of the ZIBO mod, so we can do some bug finding at the end. I'll fire up the old version of the ZIBO mod, see if that's working. If it is, and then the new one isn't, probably put it towards an issue with the new version. Aaron Hastings, side captain, arriving late in the stream. We'll be visiting the shrine after landing. Yes, we've been hearing all how religious it is around Nog. Pop in. Christian, how far till top of descent? I think it's around 150 or so miles, 180. We'll start setting up for the approach soon. Hi Fabix, hope you're doing well. Welcome to the channel. Moen, in the briefing tag of Active Sky, it should give you a QNH. You can use that to set. Let's have a look. So the interpolated weather also includes a QNH. Right, the interpolated Active Sky weather then is 033 at 5 knots. Light rain, scattered clouds. 9 at 83. Okay, so I'll use that one. Preset that. I forget. 983, there we go. Mini Ronin, is that top of descent thing in the FMC like that in real life? The gauge where it shows how many miles until you have to descend. That is exactly how it displays in real life, precisely. Your time, so this is obviously live time. So we will be hitting our top of descent at 1821.7. So that's what, 40 seconds or so, and that's at 172 nautical miles. Exactly how it displays on the cruise page in the cruise. Dave Hagen, I read somewhere in the logo lights should be turned off when passing flight level 100, like landing lights. Is there a reason why logo lights should also be off when above flight level 100? Yes, Dave Hagen, because it's no need having that. There's no need having that light on as you would have the landing lights also above that high. I mean, does it increase visibility to you? Well, yes, but if something is that close to see the tail that clearly, you'll already had an RA. So it's just to save life, I guess, on the bulbs. But yes, we only turn the logo light on at night below flight level 100. Paul, not sure, but you could save flight and reload it. Don't want to risk that unless I absolutely have to, because that'll obviously... The autosave feature in the mod has improved significantly, but that's sort of a last resort. If it became unflyable, for example, and something was majorly wrong, or if the sim crashed, that's the only time I'm going to reload it. Connor Martin, great question. How laggy are the FMCs in real life? Quite laggy. Not as quick as they are in the mod. And actually, ZIBO has an option to allow for laggy FMCs. But yeah, if you select legs, probably takes just under a second. Probably 6 tenths of a second, 7 tenths. Sometimes it can really have a bit of a think and you push it and it might take a few miles. Another thing that takes a long time is the range. If you have a lot of information here overloaded, airport, terrain, waypoints, you actually get a message displaying that it's too much data for it to process, and when you change the zoom scale it can take like 5 seconds. It takes so long you actually get a map disagree message come up because the map differs from or the map differs from the range selected. The range selected on here differs from the range on the map. But yeah, it's a lot slower. It's running on some old software. Great question. Mirchan, in real life, do you use the 3 digits on the yoke to write your call sign? Yes, some guys do. No, that doesn't change it. No, she pitches up. I was trying to change them, but I don't think it's modelled. Some guys do put the numeric parts of the call sign there. Not many. Deshaun Brown, how is the weather radar switched on? By pushing weather on the EFIS panel. There you are, weather's on. And you also need to make sure, well, the weather radar on here is a little different to ours, but I don't know how this system works. Oh no, actually I haven't. No, this is the new weather radar system fitted in the new aircraft. As long as it's in auto, it'll work fine as long as you select weather on the EFIS panel. NJ Devils, do pilots normally leave terrain on the cruise? Yes, usually pilots, well the first officer has terrain on here and the captain would have weather. If there's a lot of weather around, usually the FO would bring up. Members included, I don't allow links to be shared. I would have no problem with members being able to share the links, but the problem is YouTube doesn't give that option. Is either link sharing on or link sharing off, and it's off, you know what people could be like, so the ability to people to share links to some spurious random website which is no good, especially could easily happen. You might have noticed, I don't know if any of you who comment on my videos, you might sometimes get these comments from these bots. Basically a robot will come along, or a bot will say check out this website, and then someone else, another bot will comment, yeah, will say, yes, I have checked that website, it's great. And they also have the ability to post links, and having that link system off, it shuts off a lot of spam, because there isn't even a link sharing option for chat. It's like link sharing off for all comments, live chats, or on. And I mean, I don't know how many of you here have YouTube channels, but I'd say on an average day I get 4 or 5 comments which are complete viruses or spams or bots. I don't know how YouTube they need to get to the bottom of it. It's ridiculous sometimes. But there was a one here going around recently saying visit this Flixnet website, and then someone else would comment. Loads of people emailed saying, okay, these comments in, but it was affecting millions of people on YouTube. So yeah, sorry, link sharing is off. If you want a link to share, or if you remember, just get in contact with me beforehand. Not even moderators can share links. It's just off and on. Nightbot can. Nightbot's allowed. Yeah, wow. Brandon, in real life, if airport is doing a visual approach, are pilots allowed to fly an ILS if it's available? And if so, do they have to tell ATC they are flying the ILS? Great question, Brandon. Now, if the ILS is unserviceable, so if you're having to fly a visual approach because the ILS is unserviceable and there are indications, don't use it. But if it is serviceable, and there's nothing in the note tab saying it's unavailable, there's nothing stopping you from using it. Now, I actually had this once where we requested to fly a localizer only approach for training, and the tower actually, they turned off the glide slope for us. They didn't have to, but they actually turned it off, and I was like, oh wow, there's only a localizer available here. It's quite a small airport, but they probably wouldn't do that at a larger international airport. But no, there shouldn't be any need to tell if you want to fly visual and an ILS is available on that approach. There's no need to tell ATC. Just bear in mind that perhaps the indications might not be reliable now, or in the case of these guys, they actually turned the glide slope off. But if you're flying visual, yeah, follow the guidance for your operators on how to fly it. My operator, we utilise the FMC, build an approach and maximise use of LNAV and VNAV and automation, and then disconnect at a suitable point. Lauren, I've tried ZIBO 349.3. It talks about autosave improvement, but I've never tried it before. Is this something you might be up for exploring. Lauren V, I have been using the autosave and load and save function in the ZIBO mod for the past month now. It is just like it is in the tow list now, very good. For example, the last ZIBO stream into Carcassonne, I was able to, after landing, immediately position the aircraft downwind to practice another approach. If you're familiar with the tow list autosave function, it is almost on par with that one, pretty much working to work in there. Plainly, they don't even allow for cheating. Yeah, they say you're doing a localizer only. They turned it off. We found it quite funny. We were using VNAV anyway. Paul, does the autosave function of the ZIBO affect FPS? As in, is it harmful to make saves every minute? Does ZIBO have the function to autosave? I think it does, doesn't it? I have it. I just, like I was having that issue with the radio. The issue with the radio there, I was just saving it just in case it crashed, but I'm just manually doing it at the moment. Yeah, I think next stream I need to look at some. I haven't flown a VATSIM event for a while. The Beluga stream, we did get ATC in Luton to be fair at the end, but the stream into Carcassonne we went offline. I'll try and have a look at some events. Enska, is this 349? Yeah, we're in a pre-release version, 349.3. Autosave settings are in the EFB. Oh, earth. Ah! Autosave set to 15 minutes. Now, interestingly, where's that saving it to? There you go, FMC input lag. You can actually turn it on. I don't want to be careful here. Quick save all configs. Now, obviously I saved that to save flight 1, but where is it actually saving the autosave to? Interesting, don't know. Paul, it's safe to say autosave is a lifesaver, absolutely. Danny Ruble, did you brief the arrival? Or am I just in time? Danny, you are just in time. About to start the briefing now for our approach to knock. Now, if you have just tuned into the stream, all going well so far. We have had some technical problems today with regards to if I change or tune these frequencies, it freezes X-Plane 11 for 5 or 6 seconds every time I rotate one of these knobs, so I'm not touching it. I have now got the ILS tuned. Otherwise, we'll crack on with the approach. We're going to fly the procedural approach onto the ILS. I'm just checking one more time the active sky interpolated weather because I think it should favour still runway 26. Let's have a look here. So right now in knock, because there's no current METAR here as the airport's closed, I guess, what active sky has done is interpolated, I guess, nearby METARs and the kind of generalised weather. At the moment it's quite nice. It's 030 at 5 knots. So we can still land on 26. We'll have probably about a 2-3 knot tailwind at most. There's 10k visibility, some light rain, overcast at 1300. 9 degrees, and the QNH is 983, so that is all preset. Being a procedural approach as well, kind of necessitates the reason we're not on VATSIM, but it was a shame that we had to log off there. So weather's okay. Let's start loading up the flight management computer. Just turn the music down here whilst we're going all serious and briefing.
40,
thank you very
30,
much,
20,
Ian Perez,
10.
for the £10. Very, very kind of you. Congratulations on your 6 ATPL passes.
Things seem to finally start to improve.
What is wrong with Microsoft Jane at the moment? And I can read that entire message. Microsoft Jane is literally read 6 words out of your entire message. Microsoft Jane said things seem to finally start to improve, but I will now read your entire message. It says, good evening, Captain. Any news on if you'll be flying again for real life anytime soon? Things seem to finally start to improve. Sorry if you've already answered this already. I've been a bit out of the loop. Anyway, happy laddies. Cheers. Thank you very much, Ian. Ian, one of my members who's in the process of completing his ATPL theory. He's just passed his first exams, which is great. Great news, Iron. Yes, I have 3 flights on my roster over the coming 4 weeks, and I'm in the sim in a few days as well for my 3 takeoffs and landings. So things are certainly looking positive here. Thank you very much for your donation. My apologies that only about 1/10 of the message was read out. I need to look into what's causing issues with the radio tuning panel. I need to also work out why Microsoft Chris or Jane is only reading 1/10 of people's donations. That's very, very kind. Thank you, Ian Perez, for your donation. Yes, all looking good here. And Touchwoods, this is it. I don't want to be going towards any more lockdowns. No more affecting the aviation industry. It's going to be a long recovery, and let's hope it keeps on that road to recovery and not the other way around. Right. So, add it over control to Jim. Let's put in the descent winds here. So, VNAV forecast page 310 200 and 100. 253 at 25. 200 is 277 at 27. 100 is 045 at 7. QNH then is that interpolated QNH from active sky of 9 at 83. Low pressure. Oh, sorry, ZIBO. Fixed rings, runway 26. 10-mile ring, 4-mile ring, and we're cruising at 36,000 feet. So 36 times 3, 108. So that's approximately where top of descent will be. And you can see, look, top of descent's just beyond that. So that will probably take into account the headwind we're expecting in the descent there. Ian Perez, 4 stripes, been here a year already. Amazing. Thank you so much for your year's membership to the channel. That's crazy. Plainly, maybe the radio panel has eaten up Microsoft Jane and it's now chewing on it really hard. Could be linked. Why is everything not working here? I've got a funny feeling last stream though it might have chopped one of those dodos messages in half. Can't remember. Anyway, fixed rings in for runway 26. Let's have a look here on the charts. Now what's wrong? For some reason I've lost my view for the EFB. There we are. So ILS 1107 is tuned. This one's working fine. The left panel, you touch it, it freezes, so I'm not changing that. Course is a 264. And minimum's 865 feet. Once again, say thank you very much to Boundless Direct. I think it's Boundless Simulations, but their website is now called Boundless Direct, for gifting a copy of Knock Island West giveaway. So don't forget you've got a chance of winning this at a very unique airport in Ireland to practice your approaches in the ZIBO mod, perhaps, for Expert 11. We'll be doing that after landing. Stratus Toxic, would you like a wing view? Yes, absolutely. You get a wing view for a second. There we are. Beautiful. Yeah, we're just actually just flew over the UK, now over the kind of southern part of the Irish Sea. Fixings are in, frequencies, courses and minimums are in, and everything else is set. Right, let's briefly approach then. So, Knock then it's a procedural airport, no ATC radar available, so they're very reliant on feedback from you, perhaps, you know, from how much DME are you from the Connaught VOR? Oh great, do I have to tune? Guys, just for the purpose of today's stream, I'm not going to tune the Connaught VOR on box 1 on standby, just because of the issues we're having with the radio tuning panel. But we're going to come in via Gakbo. We're flying the arrival to Gakbo 1 Alpha, you'll see on the route page here. Gakbo 1 Alpha is selected. So, we're currently actually inbound to Gakbo. Gakbo, we've already initiated our descent. We're going to be at flight level 100 by the time we get there. And then it's going to be 10 miles to Anula at or above 3,000 feet. So we have 353, 354, 10, 9.9. I'm happy that's the correct routing. Once we get to Anula, we're on the extended centre line for runway 26, so it's going to be a left turn to Ketag. Ketag at or above 3,000 feet also checks in the flight management computer. So it's an RNAV based arrival. If RNAV equipment fails, maintained, or can it be maintained, let ATC know. ATC may request specific speeds. If unable to comply with speeds, advise ATC 250 below 100. Vertical planning information, actual descent clearance being actually by ATC. So we're happy with the routing to Ketag, which is on the extended centre line for the ILS. Here is the ILS approach, so you don't actually see the waypoint Ketag. You'll see sort of a 19 DME arc to get there via Dublin North Belfast VOR, but that's fine. We know that Ketag is on the extended centre line, and eventually we're going to go to the centre fix, and we also have a Copax waypoint. There is Copax. So the centre fix is also not here, but that is on the extended centre line for runway 26. If we go to the plan page, just get you in a view here where you can see it. There we are. So there's the centre fix for runway 27, and the platform altitude starts at Copax at 3,000. So centre fix will be back at 163 knots according to VNAV, and there is the Copax, the final approach fix at 3,000 feet, and then we start going down the ILS. Now it's a 3-degree ILS, all the way down to the minimums for the runway, which is 865 feet, which we have set here. Reading then, a couple of points to note here, which will not happen in Explode 11, but could happen in real life. It says scalloping may occur at 8 DME, so that is where, I believe, is it localised with glide slope? The glide slope can fluctuate. Well, it says, look, ILS fluctuations may occur due to terrain. Quite a lot of terrain around the vicinity of NOC here. So when you fly to airports like this, you get warnings, and what can happen is that the glide slope can jump up and down, and the automation on the 737 is very aggressive, as it should be, at staying on the glide slope. So if the glide slope starts scalloping, going up and down, the aircraft starts oscillating. It can be quite uncomfortable. So at certain airports like this, you know, we might say in the airfield briefing documentation, we have airports like this all over our network where it says, you know, delay arming approach, use vertical speed until 7 or 8 miles, and then use approach, because it will jump up and down when you're at a certain distance away from the airport. But that limitation isn't modelled in Explode 11. I'm happy to arm approach at 10 miles or so. So we'll go to the minimums we've briefed, which is 865 feet. MSA we didn't cover. That's highest to the northwest, 3,800. So if we maintain 4,000 feet in the vicinity of the Connaught VOR, we'll be clear of all obstacles and terrain. If we have to go around, we'll push Toga once. We'll then call go around, flap 15 is set to go around thrust, positive rate of climb. We'll raise the landing gear, and a missed approach is to climb outbound on the 264 radial from Connaught until we get to 3,000 feet. 264, there's a conditional waypoint at 3,000 feet. And once we're there, it's a left turn, climb to 4,000 feet, which is the holding altitude, to enter the hold, or as directed by ATC. And that is the missed approach there. Holding at Connaught. Holding at Connaught. There we are. So, that's covered. And we have an RVR requirement of 750 metres, a bit higher, but it's 10k down there. Right, let's have a look here at the airport then. So, this is a dinky little airport if you ever see one here. So the runway length isn't too short or too long, 2,300 metres, landing on runway 26. Full Cat 2 approach lighting here. They've got Cat 2 because of get a lot of low visibility and fog here. So they installed Cat 2. And runway 26 certified for Cat 2, special training crew authorisation required. And we're not going to be able to stop by Alpha even if we try. Okay, so an airport like this, you have to do a 180 and backtrack. Now, certain airports there's a requirement to use the full length and use the turn pad to do a 180 backtrack. I'm not sure about NOC. Always confirm with Tower. Here you probably want to stop as soon as possible, and then you can just do a 180 on the runway. So what we'll use, as the wind's died down, we're going to go flat 40, order brake 3, stop, 180 backtrack, vacate at Alpha and park on one of the 2 stands available. Probably a good idea that we did log off of Vatsid then. It's really a small airport, tight apron, and when you're taxiing in a small tight apron like this, it's very important that you're very well aware of your surroundings. If you're unsure of your position or wingtip clearance, you stop, confirm, get some clarification from some ground control or a marshaller. But yeah, very short taxi, straight on to stand. Landing distance then 2,000 metres beyond the glide slope. LVPs, they have it for course as well. So as we approach top of descent here, let's have a look at our performance. A little bit of weather on the weather radar as well. So 15 miles till top of descent. Let's bring up the performance calculator. So knock, runway 26, active sky interpolated weather is showing us 10 degrees 983. And importantly, the wind here is switch around now to 3407. Okay, 3407. There we are, so that's good for us. So flat 40, we'll use dry runway, reverse credit, landing weight then. 4.7, we took loads of fuel because the weather could be iffy. I've taken alternate fuel for Dublin and Shannon, so we've got Dublin 2.3. We've got over 50 minutes of holding fuel there, so we're going to be burning another 700 kilos, and our landing weight's going to be 60.6. 60.6. 60.6. That says flat 40 or to brake 3. There we are. We'll stop about 3/4 of the way down the runway. No point cooking the brakes to stop a bit sooner and saving 45 seconds. But flat 40 or to brake 3 will work nicely. So flat 40 or to brake 3, second detent reverse, vacate, backtrack vacate at alpha. There we are. Check's complete. Let's get rid of the wriggling control column. And look at that for timing. Approaching top of descent as well, ladies and gentlemen. As we route inbound to Gakpo. So there's no ATC. What we'll do, we go straight down to an altitude if we really wanted, but we'll go down to 80, which will preset there. Top of descent and chats, and the aircraft will automatically descend in VNAV at top of descent. There we go. Let's have a look at some of the comments as I was briefing away then. Microsoft Jane in the same union as the radio panel. Everything's broken today. Brandon M. Domestic travel here in the US is rebounding quite well. Hopefully Europe follows soon. I've heard a lot of recruitment and positivity. I think V1 Simulations has been flying back again quite a bit, which is good for him. Fantastic. Stefan, bit gutted for Mr. Gray. He's been sat on Knock Tower for the last half hour waiting for your Royal Arrival for the Royal Arrival. Brilliant. Andy H1302, we all wish you good luck with going back to normal flying, but we're all worried we'll have to talk to our wives and kids when you stream less often. Andy, brilliant. Excellent. Beyond, is it too late to turn around? Forgot my passport. Brilliant. NSER, hi Captain, really confused when putting in the decision altitude. So if we have a look here at the approach chart, your height and altitude are both referenced here. So height is the height above the ground. So typically for a Cat 1 ILS, as we're flying today, the height above the ground is 200 feet AGL. However, we're always referencing height above mean sea level, which is based off a QNH setting. So when we set QNH 9 at 83, if you look at the aerodrome elevation, which is here, 665 feet, and if you add 200 feet, that's going to be 865 feet. Okay, that's the minimums because we're referencing this as a height above mean sea level. So when we're at 865 feet, we're only 200 feet above the ground, but we are 865 feet above sea level. And that's the height we always reference, and we set this as our minimums. Now when we fly a Cat 2 or Cat 3 approach at my operator, we actually want to set this height as a radio altitude. So you'll see on the minimum selector we have Barrow selected because we're using a QNH. Barrow is the altimeter. We can also set minimums to radio altitude, and we do that when we fly at my operator Cat 2 or Cat 3 approaches, and those heights are referenced as just DAHs, so we're only interested in decision altitude 865. Oh, sorry, I think it's only heights for Cat 2. Jet charts are a bit different. They have separate charts individual charts for Cat 2 approaches. At my operator, they have a common chart, so all ILS approaches have one chart which just has the difference in the minimums. But you'll see here for Cat 2, it just says RA. So it is also a decision altitude, a height, but the one you want to be setting is in bold as an RA, 136. And that's a bit unusual. Usually it's a fixed height of 100 AGL, but they've gone slightly higher here, 136 for whatever reason. So that's what we'd set, and that's a height above ground. I hope that sort of makes sense. Anyway, VNAV's doing a beautiful job maintaining speed. We're over islands now. Let's go here to the map. There we are, just west of Dublin. Not much in this part of Ireland, I don't think. We'll do a little external view. There's the ortho falling speed below. Brandon M, I noticed something before boarding a flight last week. The ground crew approached the plane and the beacon light was still on. It was American Airline 737, not sure if it's a company thing. Now, if that beacon light is on, Brandon M, no one should be approaching that aircraft at all. I mean, they might start walking towards it, but they can't walk within a certain area of that aircraft. Now, crew can be a bit naughty sometimes and turn the anti-collision light on when ready to start their engines, but if you do that and the ground crew are boarding the aircraft or boarding bags still, they'll walk away, and they're right in their mind to do so, because that red light means on this aircraft is moving either via a tug or under its own power, about to start the engines, or the engines are running perhaps. So yeah, if that red light's flashing, there should be no one approaching the aircraft. But maybe they started walking, I don't know how close they got, maybe they started walking towards it in preparation for the light turning off, but they should certainly not get anywhere near the aircraft. Aaron, not much in this part of Ireland, or are you? Sorry. The further west you go, the very much quieter it gets. Dylan has put it quite rightly. Ireland is always lashing rain. I got soaked earlier. Brilliant. Thanks a lot, Philip Messenger, for the €10.
50.
Let's see how much
40,
of this is read out.
30.
Hopefully all of it.
20. 10.
Hi Captain, my blow of fresh oxygen in this overall mess. What difference does it make to fill in EFB landing performances, since FMS should be set for the same purpose? Thanks, wish you smooth landing.
So it looks like, Philip Messenger, thank you so much for the €10. It looks like that Microsoft Jane is happy to read out super chat payments, but not donations directly via PayPal. Okay, well, screw you, Microsoft Jane. Philip Messenger, different topic though. Thank you so much for €10. I'm actually going to read that now. I was actually making sure it's working. My blow of fresh oxygen in the overall mess. What difference does it make to fill an EFB landing performance, since the FMS should be set for the same purpose? Thanks, wish you a smooth landing. What do you mean there, Phil? I'm not sure what you're referring to. The FMS isn't capable of calculating landing performance. It will show you the runway length, the frequencies and courses to tune, but you need to calculate your landing performance using an electronic flight bag like the one in the ZIBO mod, or at my operator we use the Boeing onboard performance tool, and then using that information we'll then configure either the flap or auto brake setting to get the aircraft configured for landing. I think that's what you're getting to at there, Phil, but if you're not, if I've completely misunderstood that question, let me know and I'll try and answer that. But what difference does it fill in the EFB landing performance, since the FMS should be set for the same purpose? No, the FMS hasn't got the ability to calculate our landing performance there for you, but thank you for the continued support. It's very, very kind there. Excellent. Stratus Toxic Lights, bro, thank you very much. A little bit early. We turned the external lights on at 10,000 feet. Philip didn't use the period to end sentences. MS Jane happy with that. I don't know why it didn't work. Anyway, once we get into knock, we'll do the giveaway, so you have a chance of winning this scenery. would you like me to do a little visual circuit in an aircraft? As we've been offline today, haven't had much interaction with ATC. Give us an ability to explore the product by Boundless Direct, and sort of way of saying thanks. Might as well see what is in offer for you to win today. Maybe the DC-3. Would you like me to wheel that out the hangar? It's always an exciting aircraft to fly. We have the excellent DC-3 from V Skylabs, and it sounds amazing. I love it every time we fly it. It just sounds awesome. So we could do a little circuit in knock, perhaps. Visual circuit, yes, why not? Visual circuit in the Beluga. Well, that's going to be a very long time to start up. I'll just whack the DC-3 on the runway, engines running. It sounds amazing. Concorde, no. 2 tons DC-3, 30 minutes in the checklist. Engines running, ready to go. I'll just go full power. Love the sound of that thing. Oh, in starting my type rating at EMA on Monday, a visual circuit could come in handy. Oh, and don't judge anything I'm doing in the DC-3 here in knock towards your type rating. Best of luck to you, Owen. That's very exciting. Blériot, the Contraventors. I think DC-3 is going to be the one that you want to fly. Anyway, let's concentrate on this flight for now. We'll cycle the seatbelts. At the moment, we're keeping the seatbelt sign on at all times due to the coronavirus pandemic to sort of prevent people from mixing in the cabin too much. Of course, if you need to use the facilities, no problem whatsoever. You just make that known to the cabin crew and off you go. Jump to the toilet. But we're trying to avoid people queuing. What goodness difference it makes, who knows? But that's the practice we're applying. Flight Sim GR, what scenery do you use? At the moment we're flying into knock by using some payway scenery kind provided by Boundless Direct and Ortho 4XP, and I also have True Earth Orbex scenery as well. But if you use the command ! Scenery, you can see all the scenery I'm using for this particular stream. Yeah, the Contraventor circuit would be longer than the entire flight, absolutely. Anyway, this is a nice, easy approach for us today. Just monitoring VNAV, making sure what it's doing. Approaching Gakbo, we'll shortly start descending. What's the minimum descent altitude this sector? Well, 3,000 feet at Anula. I'm happy to step down to that point. Is the Spitfire? I think there is one, not sure though. Yes, that's what it's referred to. I don't think there's a good one for X-Plane 11. Dylan, what would you say the hardest part of the 737 training was? I wouldn't say there's a particular element of the training. It is very intensive, a lot of information you need to absorb in a relatively short period of time. The first type rating sessions are reasonably easy. Some tips for Owen. And Owen, if you're here, look at the documentation provided by said operator or operator on how to fly particular approaches. They've got some excellent documentation. Airlines produce excellent documentation on what to follow on top of the regular FCOMs and FCTMs. But no, what was the hardest part for me? Initial sessions, not so bad, just getting you kind of warmed up, and then it sort of builds up there. And the full flight sessions, when you're first exposed to the handling elements, the first time you're really flying the aircraft in the Level D sim, and they are very good. I remember crosswind landings when I first tried those were tricky. The UPRT exercises, upset recovery exercises, are quite tricky too first time you did it. But no, there was nothing that really stuck out as that was really hard. But all of it's hard. it's if you've gotten to that stage when you're ready to start your type rating, you're more capable of performing well. Right, anyway, there's the weather reloading in the sim. Approaching flight level 100 for 80. Let's do the post-cruise checks. We have 4 pumps on, a healthy 5 tons on board. Lights coming on. Don't need the logo on. Angle of bank set to 25 degrees. Pressurization 3.0. And set. Seatbelts on, recall around 10 minutes landing. Beautiful. Right, let's put the background music away. Keep the heads down. Do a little more of a stable cockpit and a sterile cockpit. So let's do that and that. I know we're offline, but might as well. Hello, Mary Anders. Hello to you, Mini Robin. That's pretty cool. I guess that means the entire stream, thanks. Samuel, why is the bug speed not going directly from 280 to 250, but it's constantly slowing down? That's been updated recently now. In the real aircraft, it moves in blocks. I think ZIBO's just had it moving in a more smooth...
1,000 to go.
A lot more smoothly. In the real aircraft, it sort of blocks down in sort of little 1 knot increments when it gets to a decel point. But no, you sort of modelled it as a continuous movement, which is fine. I can work with that. Right, anyway, approaching 80, inbound to Anula. We'll imagine at a procedural airport like this, they've said descend 3,000 feet, set QNH9 at 83 hectopascals, and they'll say something like, after Anula, clear to intercept ILS, approach runway 26, called localizer established, or approach established. There we are, so 3,000 feet set, QNH9 at 83, passing 7,200 to 3,000 feet, and the standby altimeter is set, and there we are. Glide slope's already alive, looking good, so I'm actually going to keep a close eye on VNAV here, making sure it starts slowing down. I'm going to use a little bit of speed brakes, we're going to have a bit of a tailwind here, just to get our speed a little bit closer back to our target speed. The decel, yeah, this is what it does in the real aircraft, like a little knot increments in VNAV. That's very nice, it's very realistic. You have reset the DA. Yes, because I think we're demonstrating it, weren't we? Oh, thank goodness, well spotted. 865, just going to double check that's in there. Very good. Right, localizer alive. I'm happy that we're below the glide slope, so instead of using speed brake, I'm going to go level change, bug, the up speed starts slowing down, and that does the dual purpose of getting the aircraft slowed down and also recapturing the glide slope. So we can arm the forelock now, around 17 miles. Localizer alive. Localizer is captured. We can set runway heading, which is 264. Well, so the final approach course. There we are. That's set. There we are. So level change is working nicely, and what I'm actually going to do now is use vertical speeds. And my operator, one of the first things I was taught in the type rating is, and line training, was something called VS to finesse. You can just literally use vertical speed to stay on the glide slope until you're ready to arm approach. Now I'm going to select flap 1 now, otherwise the speed's going to... Why is my... Okay, my joystick's not working at all. Interesting. Okay, my joystick's not working, guys. I can't actually select flaps unless I move the lever. I'm going to go straight to flap 5. I don't think I can. Why is my... It's quite cool that it works like that, though. Right, flap 5. My joystick's not working at all. Literally stopped working. Maybe it's similar to what I had before in the INI builds. Maybe everything's just stopped working. It's plugged it. Let me just plug it in and out again. What is going on today? It is plugged in. Let me just unplug it and plug it in again. I'm behind my PC right now. Not what I'd recommend on a final approach. No, joystick is not working at all. I'm not even joking. Oh my goodness me. Right. Arm approach. Match speed. Well, how am I going to land? I'm going to have to do an auto land, guys. I'm just going to engage Command B for this. Should be able to do it. Literally, got no way of landing. I've just unplugged it and plugged it in again. Maybe this is more not just an issue with the radio tuning panel, but X-Plane 11 altogether. I've just plugged it in and out again, and it is not working at all. I'll just do it one more time. Alright, out, in, on. No, it's not even making the Microsoft ding. Auto land it is, guys. I'm not using the mouse. Right. We can do a practice auto land, and where we can still have the Cat 1 minimum set. That's fine. Oh my days. Anyway, what can we do? Flap 10. Oh yeah, I just tried to press flap 10 on my joystick. That was the gear warning horn, so I went to flap 15 without the gear. Oh, it's not giving me flap 10. Well, that will do. Engine that TI's off. Oh, I'm so sorry about this, guys. My joystick not working. I'm going to reboot X-Plane 11 before we do our circuit. Try another USB port. I don't have any left, Romulus. I'm literally full. I will vote. I will unplug the printer. There we go. I'm away. I am AFK at the moment, guys. Right, is it another USB port? But no, I didn't hear Microsoft do anything. Nope, joystick's dead. I think there's a big problem here, because not only did the radio tuning panel freeze, my joystick is completely inop. Something happened because it worked on departure. Right, gear down. I'm gonna have to go. Wait, 17. No, I'm gonna have to go to flap 25 initially, because I need to get below 162. Landing checklist. Start switch is continuous, recall checked, speed brake, arm green light, landing gear down 3 green, order brake is set to 3, and we need to be below 162 knots of flat 40, which we are, so I'm just going to bug it first. Not practice, good practice. There we are, flat 40. I have to do an auto land. I'm so sorry, guys. Are my rudder pedals working? Oh no, my rudder pedals aren't working. Oh my god. We're going to go off the edge of the runway here, guys. My rudder pedals aren't working at all. Nothing is working. No joystick, no rudder, but the green power light is on. The green power light is on, so they're plugged in, but X-Plane is just not working. Right, flaps, 40 green lights are on, checks complete. I am so sorry about this. So X-Plane has just stopped working. My joystick's not working. The power light is on my rudder pedal, but nothing's working. Literally, we're gonna have to see what happens.
Minimums 300.
Can I? No, I can't even reduce power. Well, the auto land will do that because I can't.
100.
That's something at least. Like,
50, 40, 30.
come on, ZIBO.
20, 10.
Right, yeah, right, reverses, but I can't advance, I can't do anything, literally can't do anything, I've got no control, I can't do anything, I can't even add thrust, everything's stopped working, that's definitely got to be linked to the radio tuning panel. Right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Knock. Oh my goodness me, no, just stop. Oh, in the trees. Nothing's wet. No rudders, no joystick. Great. That's our first runway excursion. Goddamn sim. Thanks, X-Plane. Right, literally. Let me just explain what's going on here in the background. So the radio tuning panel is working fine. Sorry, the rudder pedals and what am I even saying? The rudder pedals and the joystick are completely inoperative. However, on the Logitech rudder, I have a green power light. Okay, there is a green power light on. Okay, so it is powered. The sim is the PC's recognizing it, but X-Plane is ignoring it completely. It's like none of it's working. So I don't think this is an issue with the ZIBO mod. We had issues with the radio. I think X-Plane's playing up here in the background and it's not making me do certain things. I don't know, but yeah, here we are. What I will probably try and do is reload that approach again. Now, what I will do, let me just put a nice music on here in the background to avoid any awkward silence. I can't believe this. Right. Do you want to watch a replay? I don't want to watch a replay. Oh dear. Anyway, I'm so sorry, Boundless Simulations as well. I will be showing your scenery very shortly, and we'll be winning a copy of this. We're going to have some fun at this airport before the stream ends. So it'll be around 3 hours anyway.
50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
Thank you very much, Steve Bayer, for the £5. Oh, yeah, now ignoring. Microsoft James walked out as well now. I believe this has just gone to a disaster. Welcome to our world, bossy sirs. Thank you. Right, anyway, what I'm going to do, I'm going to reboot X-Plane, alright? Let me just, let me just quit out of it here, alright? And what I'll do, I'm going to reload in the ZIBO mod first. And we'll do a quick little circuit in the ZIBO mod and then do the giveaway. I won't do it in the DC3. I just want to make sure it's not the ZIBO mod that's broken. I think it was a fundamental issue with X-Plane in that stream.
50, 40,
dear. Thanks a lot,
20,
Flight Sim Mega, for the
10.
£15. We're going to do a replay on the... We're not done yet, guys. Not done. Oh, Flight Sim Mega, thank you. Microsoft Change is on strike here for some donations. He said, well, this was fun. Thank you very much, Flight Sim Mega, for your donation there. Very kind. Oh, my goodness me. Nick Tix, you might have to reboot the PC, or let me just reload X-Plane 11 first, see if that fixes the issue. Now, something must have happened in the flight, because everything was working hunky-dory. I was able to tune frequencies, joystick was working, rudder was working, and all of a sudden, halfway through the stream, everything stopped working. The radio and the ZIBO mod, Nav1 stopped working as well, then joystick stopped working, and the rudder pedals as well. Like, the whole lot just went kaboom. Now I need to reload Steam because it says X-Plane's still running when it's not, so I actually have to force close Steam. There we are, that's Steam rebooted, and now let's bring up X-Plane 11 again. What fun, guys! Ah, dear. Finn, thank you very much for £5. Not your fault, Flight Sim. Enjoyed the flight. I hope you can redeem the landing in the circuit. Let's hope so. Let's hope so. Thanks a lot, buddy. That's very kind. Right. Come on, X-Plane. There we
50,
go. That's
40,
rebooting.
30, 20, 10.
Thanks, Finn. Let's see if it reads yours out. No, Finn, sorry. Microsoft Chain's on strike again. Now, why is X-Plane not launching? Oh, now Steam isn't even opening, guys. Like, if I did this morning. Like, every time I open Steam, it just closes straight down again. Oh, yeah, connecting Steam account. Oh, my days. Oh, now X-Plane is like, oh, make your mind up. Simulator channel, chill, Captain. I'm chill. Alright, it seems. Let's see what happens after this. I am chill, but it's just annoying. This is happening. I've never. Last time we had that was with the Any builds, but that was an in-house issue with Sassel or whatever it's called. Definite PC restart in near future. Oh, I did a full restart before the stream. Bad pilot, stop Bitcoin mining, Captain. Oh. Oh dear, be advised what? Resources errors? What? Windows? Unknown hat switch? What is going on? I've never seen that before. Oh, something is amiss here, ladies and gentlemen. I've never seen that before in X-Plane. It's really not happy with the joystick. Am I going to have to reboot the entire PC like you guys are all seeing? Yeah. Oh, and now it's completely crashed. Oh dear, oh dear. It might be a full reboot, guys. That will freeze the stream, but it should come straight back, unless... Yeah, look, it's not even... Yeah, look, if I move stuff, it's not doing anything. Look, it's literally... Joystick, no response at all on anything, guys. Right, let me just
50,
reboot the PC.
40, 30,
which
20,
it will stop the
10.
stream. But it will come straight back again as soon as I've rebooted it. I'll reload Streamlabs.
All that is missing is the barking dog. Good fun, though.
Thanks a lot, Pete. Last time we had that issue, yeah, well, that was a completely separate issue. Yes, the Streamlabs crash issue, which I did actually have the same issue at the start of the ETS2 stream 2 days ago. Oh dear, oh dear. Right, guys, please be patient. Thank you, Pete, for that donation. Please be patient. I'm going to now reload the entire PC. It will go quiet for a bit, though, because Streamlabs will obviously stop working. And then as soon as I'm back, we'll try again. Fingers crossed what will happen. As soon as we get back, let me know in chat right now. Do you want me to do a circuit in the ZIBO mod or a circuit in the DC3 as we explore Knock Island West? As soon as I've got that up and running again, we'll see what happens. And yeah, thanks a lot for your patience here. Sorry about this. Replug your joystick in the original port before reboot. Will do, Romulus. Thank you very much. Guys, I'll be back very, very shortly. Thank you. Hi guys, we are rebooted. I've done a full reboot of the PC. I don't know if that's hopefully. Yeah, now now it seems to be working. So I've just unplugged and plugged in the joystick, and it's now making the Windows sound like the bidum bidum. There we are. So yeah, let's see what happens. There must have been some big issue of X-Plane in the middle of that stream where everything stopped working, like it couldn't recognise the joystick, the rudder pedal, the nav aid stopped working. I know I said which one would we fly, but I'm really curious. I want to try the ZIBO mod, see if the radio tuning panel's working again. It should be, because it did start at the start of the stream. So, 3 Charlie, pre-release version, knock, runway 26, confirm. Let's lighten it up a little bit now as
50,
well.
40, 30, 20,
Thanks a lot, Bill.
10.
Hang in there and have a nice drink when it's all over.
Thanks a lot, $10. I'm hanging in there. That's very kind. Thanks for the continued support as a member as well. That's very, very kind of you. Yes, we're nearly done. But no, I really want to show off the scenery because it was very kindly provided by Boundless Direct. I've not had that issue before in the entire history of Flight Data Sim. Runway excursion and hard landing and auto landing, everything. It all went to pot. Completely broke. Oh dear, but hopefully reloading here will be working. Oh, even Jack's come in. Oh, Daddy, I thought you heard you're having issues with your stream. Thought I'd come here and cheer you up. Good here, thanks, buddy. James said just recovered from a power outage and opened the stream that this happened. Maybe it's linked to the issues we've been having. Maybe the dev trolled me, possibly. Oh boy. Is your office super hot again? No, it's pretty cold at many bars. The UK at the moment is horrible. No sun, raining every day. Captain Franz, is the auto land that firm in real life? Nope. It can be sometimes, but that was particularly firm. Captain Jasmine, I explained crash on Chewy 94 stream as well. Yes, well, it happens. It happens, these things. I mean, X-Plane didn't actually crash. It just stopped working. Issues with nav aids. The fact that it's all happened at once, maybe something internally happened with X-Plane. Because it just didn't recognise the joystick anymore, the rudder pedal anymore. Nav aids didn't tune. There we are. Let's just see if it's... Yeah, look, working perfectly now. Working absolutely perfectly. So X-Plane had a real wobbly at some point in the middle of that sector and just stops everything working. We know it works. We took off fine. Like rudder pedals, flight controls, all working fine. Interesting. Previously auto-saved flight. I pressed it. It's probably not going to help matters. Where's this going to put us, I wonder? This could be interesting, guys. It's frozen now. So why did I do that? Okay. That's where it's put us. Well, it works. Just happened that the 15-minute autosave was at the most inappropriate time ever. Oh, now I'm going to have completely broken it. That's really quite funny. Right, anyway, let's reload that one. I don't think I can load up another one. I think I'll just put it back on the runway and hopefully that's not broken the mod. Oh dear, oh dear. Oh, that was pretty funny. Moan, at least you can taxi back to stand
50,
now, I know.
40, 30, 20, 10.
Thanks a lot, Dave K, for the $5. Oh, that was really funny.
Here is some money to go towards fixing Boundless new airport scenery.
Thank you, Dave K. It seems like the reboot's fixed Microsoft Jade as well. That's very kind. Both Bill's and Dave's donation came through. Oh no, Bill's didn't come through, but thank you, Dave K. Yes, we put several tyre marks in all the sceneries here, everywhere. Unbelievable. Thank you very much there, Dave K, for your donation. Right, let's see if I can quickly get something sorted here. So it looks like the aircraft's now configured, flat 5, auto brake to RTO. Let's turn active sky back on. Want to be in the actual conditions, although it's a little bit earlier than it was. All that make it a little bit brighter. There's active sky booting up in the background. So let's go up to 3,000 feet, which is the platform altitude here. Nav database we know is out of date. We'll quickly whack in something into the FMS. We'll do a little circuit. Won't worry about the call sign, not needed. Let's just put departure 26, Baby 1 Alpha, arrivals. Let's do an ILS Bravo 26. Activate, execute, legs, center fix, something like that. Execute. I'll delete the 5,000 foot restriction, otherwise it'll start moaning at me when I put 3,000 in. Yeah, let's go. Let's put the weight up a little bit. No, is the answer to that. Airports, Mercury Kilo November.
50, 40,
No,
30,
passengers.
20,
Payload. What did I say? 152 passengers. Who's that? Steve Mayer, thanks to the Fiverr. Oh, Fiverr Microsoft Jane. That's definitely worth another donation. Steve Mayer, thank you very much. That's very, very kind of you. What is going on with Streamlabs as well? A real mess everywhere. Right, we've got the same amount of passengers we had on earlier. 55.9, just put 2 here, 30, 3,000 feet. Execute. Let's whack in 3,000 here, so we don't get an off-schedule descent. There we are, don't worry about that. Let's go full 24k, take off, flat 5, and V-speeds are set, so we'll put in around... shoot, that trim's fine. Fix it on departure. Right, 142 knots. We'll do a quick circuit here. Yeah, if you just joined the stream, welcome. A few technical issues here today. Unfortunately, explained for a little wobbly for us on the last flight in here. We were unable to use the autopilot, joystick or rudder pedals, which meant we went off the side of the runway and had to reboot the PC for it to work. And now we're just having a bit of fun doing a little circuit here to explore the scenery by Boundless Simulations, which I'll do once I've taxied on stand after this landing. Let's turn that off. So radar vectored circuit, guys. I'm going to just take off straight ahead in runway heading until we get to 3,000 feet, which is only 1,500. Oh no, hold on. QNH needs to set, don't we? What was it? I think it was 983. Active sky. Let me just check what active sky is giving us the QNH. It is saying. Oh, I can't actually see knock because the little aircraft logo is in the way. QNH 984. So we're going to climb straight ahead just to 3,000 feet, which is only 2,500 feet above where we are at the moment. Once we're level, we'll make a left turn downwind, and then we'll intercept the ILS with sort of a whole self-radar vectored circuit, sort of similar to the circuit training we do. So that is all set. Should we do it, guys? And then we'll explore the scenery afterwards, and then you'll have a chance of winning this scenery as well from Boundless Simulations. So we're being very patient whilst I mess around here. It's stabilised, set, take off thrust. So based off the same gross weight as before, we've got 5 tons of fuel. Left rudder's coming in. It's the same crosswind that blew us off earlier.
80 knots.
Checked, release forward pressure. Invader on into winds.
V1, rotate.
There we go, 2.5 degrees seconds. No airborne.
Positive rate.
Gears coming up. Also the flight directors. So live weather at the moment. Low cloud base, raining. Not quite as gentle with the wing. 400 feet heading select. Actually, you know what? We'll go LNAV because we can follow the magenta line that's set there.
1,000.
That's checked, so we bug up. And because it's a low stop altitude like this, you're going to get out of choir, but just continue to follow the flight directors and retract the flaps. Flaps 1.
1,000 to go.
Checked. Why is 80 knots always announced? Says Oni, that's the difference between... Well, there's several things at 80 knot call. The most well, I said they're most important, they're all equally important. One reason is the difference between a low speed and a high speed rejected takeoff. So it's important with the regards above 80 knots to be very go-minded, and we only stop for engine failures, fires, airplanes unsafe or unable to fly, or wind shear warning. It acts as a pilot incapacitation check, so 80 knots is sort of your last chance during the takeoff to make sure that pilot flying is alive. So pilot flying has to respond to check to 80 knots. If not, you sort of just want to make sure he's alive. And thirdly, it's also an airspeed cross-check. So airspeed unreliable. If the airspeed information is unreliable, you don't want to take that aircraft flying, because the automation, the flight director guidance on the commanded side, if it has to be commanded, will be following the airspeed which is not correct, so you get spurious indications and things like that. ASI unreliable is pretty nasty. We're trained to deal with it, and we try and diagnose a working airspeed, and if we don't have any reliable airspeed information, we have to only fly the aircraft based off reliable pitch and thrust settings from the tables in the manual. So yeah, it's really important to make that call for 80 knots to make sure the airspeed's working. There we are. So 11 at 3000, still hand flying. I've got the flight directors which are aiding me here. Do they have to take off checklist? So gears off, brakes off. Forgot to put the start switches in continuous. Yep, real pilot, etc, etc. See, as the aircraft turns, look, the nose wants to drop, so just keep up the flight directors. And actually, no, we're going to go on a heading now, so I'm sort of vector myself around. Hear the rain on the windshield. Such a shame that the rain effects don't work in X-Plane 11 anymore since Vulcan was released. Excellent. Also, release forward pressure. Yes, you're correct, Lauren. That's also another thing we do at 80 knots. Right, so we're downwind now. Would you like, you know what, guys? What's my landing weight? Shall I go completely raw data, see if I can bring it down? No flight directors or anything. I'm hands fly. Let me just get the autopilot in here. And I'm going to try my absolute best to go completely, no flight directors, no nothing. Should we do that? And then that'll be fun. See if I can bring it down. Let's extend the centre line, 264. Cool, and after we've landed, we'll have a look at the Boundless simulations scenery, see how it looks. I should be on TARA, where the radar should be on. There we are. So the aircraft's now in trim and stabilised. We should have around 55-ish% to maintain 205 knots. You can see the thrust is slowly coming up to that to maintain that speed. And we're going to go, yeah, let's do it. Let's go old school and everything off and fly. Just get landing performance 6. I don't want to be doing that raw data. That's fine. Checklist, that's all that's left to do, so I'm just going to put the start switches in continuous now. Excellent. Right, so I'm going to go old school now, raw data, nothing, no flight directors as well, and just follow pitch and power settings to get onto this ILS. So, disconnecting autopilot, disconnecting auto throttle, flight directors are off, pitch and power now. Let's see how we can get on. So, let's turn a little bit more downwind. 067. So the altitude's around 5 degrees, thrust you want to have at around 55% to maintain the upspeed, so don't get below the upspeed clean. You can see as I added that thrust, the nose wants to come up. Engine anti-ice, it's 11 degrees on the tap there, Yuri, don't need engine anti-ice. Switch that heading slightly. Trying to manipulate the MCP, thrust is too high. There we are, back to 3000. So 5 degrees, all about attitude, making sure you reference that correct target attitude there. So downwind here, I'm going to maintain 3000 feet to around 10 miles away, and then we're going to go flap 1, flap 5, turn onto around a 10-mile final. Alan Hughes, evening all. Looks like I'm coming at an interesting time. Yes, if you just joined the stream, welcome. We're on our second approach into NOC after huge problems with the sim. No joystick, no rudder pedals. And based on that situation, we went off the end of the runway and then had to reboot my PC to make sure everything's working, which it now is. And we're now doing a raw data, raw vectored circuit into a NOC, where we'll then go and explore and then give away as well. Sorry I don't have too much attention to chat at the moment. I am hand flying raw data with no autopilot or flight directors. It does take a little bit of my attention. I'll try my best to have a look there. Daniel, starting type rating on the 738 next week. Any advice on what to study before starting? Systems or SOPs? All of it. Daniel, best of luck. Systems, you know, when I was a TRI, I'd want you on day one to be able to get to the whole point with reasonable proficiency, so maybe having to refer to a few of the SOP points as well. But SOPs, Sim Study Guide is an excellent document. I'd also recommend looking at with regards to referencing parts of your type rating. Everything is there to assist you. Ask your instructors and they'll help you there. Right, so now we go 3,000 feet, rolling the height nicely. The N1 is very low, around 60 tons. I'd usually expect around 55 to 60% N1 to maintain this speed. It's about 10% less, maybe a slight jigging in the mod required for that. Usually works before, so this is more like it would be in the max, having this sort of N1 to maintain this speed. Anyway, we'll just go out about a little bit longer. I'm going to do this sort of as we would do in real life. Still in IMC, and keeping my scan here going is primarily always looking at the attitude here. That's what's important, attitude. Then have a look at your ND. You can bring the track up display as well. It's really useful to see your track. Airspeed, height, looking all good there. Right, so I'm going to go flap 1 now. Bug the flap 1 speed. The aircraft will balloon. It's just like in real life, guys. If you don't make any input, it balloons just like that. That is why I love X-Plane and the ZIBO mod so much. So flap 1, keep the thrust roughly where it is in the turn as you maintain altitude, and the slight increased drag with flap 1. That will slowly bring your speed back. It's coming up because I'm descending slightly. I'll actually go flap 5 now. It's going to go on sort of a 90-degree base leg initially. There's another balloon from flap 5. There we are, so small corrections here. Just ignore the heading bug. You'd ask pilot monitoring to update the heading bug as you turn. There we are, so just do a little bit of a base leg here. Reset MSP altitude years. Let's get back up to 3,000, trimming nose down. There we are. So bring back to the flat 5 speeds. We'll need about 55% N1 once we're there. So there's our base leg. We'll make our turn onto final now. Just crank the heading bug round. Just set runway heading here. I'm sort of half looking at the heading bug, half looking at the PFD. It's sort of hard. Right, let's turn final. So here comes the thrust. Getting about 100 foot low there. So let's get back up to our altitude. Just too busy looking at the flipping heading bug, that's fine. There we are. Honestly, I find this harder in the desktop sim than in the real aircraft. Doing this, you know, it's easier, honestly. No real feedback. Now, where is that glide slope going to come in? Hopefully soon. Right, on a nice intercept heading. So you're very reliant on pilot monitoring to call localizer alive, localizer capture. So I'm going to start a very gentle turn now. There's localizer alive. Just don't start descending. That's my scan just went off there for the height. So straight back up to 3,000. That's a bit aggressive there. Set that target altitude. There we are. That's better. So 5 degrees. All about the altitude. Keep that heading going. I want to keep a track of 264 hijack. So let's a little bit gentle about the localizer there. So maintaining 3,000. There's glide slope alive. It's level now. There we are. So, established on the localizer, slightly right of centre line, so I'm going to keep a track of 261 to get back in there. Glide slope's alive, so if you're flying a raw data in the sim for your check, you'd start configuring gear down flat 15 now. I'm going to keep flying it sort of like CDA style, so I'll configure it around 5 miles. But the glide slope alive, gear down flat 15, glide slope capture, select the landing flap, and then plug in 1 degree 57. Right, there's the localizer. Scan gone slightly, so let's set track of 265. That gets back on. There we are. Oh, don't forget to start descending because I was too busy looking at the localizer. There we are. Idle thrust at the attitude just above the horizon. There we are. Right, that track's good. So let's plug in 264. Good. So that glide slope's coming back in nicely. I'm just going to go back up to around just above the horizon, around 1 degree. That will hold us at around 800 feet per minute on that glide slope. Localizer's looking okay. Just a slight turn to the left. There we are. That will come back in nicely on a track of 262. Runway should be coming into sight anytime soon. Start configuring now, so gear down, flap 15, set the landing speed, landing checklist we already kind of did, so start switches we check continuous, recall we check, speed brake is armed, landing gear down 3 green, I hope. Auto brake is set to 3, I'll select landing flap now, which is flap 30, reference around 57%, get back onto the localizer there, with flap 30, around 60 tons, which is what we are. And flaps we have 30, green light, lights are on, clear to land, checks complete. And if you look at the distance, you should be able to see the runway now. 2 reds, 2 whites, on centre line, and then you can bring that sort of outside view into your scan now. Tiny bit high on the glide slope, so just around 1,000 feet per minute to get back on. Oh, another sim freeze. What is going on today? At least everything's still working.
1,000 feet stabilized, Mr. Perch altitude set.
Mr. Perch is not set. Lied you. Right, looking good now though. Pitch power now is exactly where I'd expect it to be. And looking good. Alright, let's see if we can actually get a butter. If Tobias is watching my official butter logger, this is the one that counts, not the one earlier. So 4,000 feet would have been the miss, but looking good. Crosswinds on the right, so I'm going to use left rudder, around 10 feet. A little bit of right aileron into wind to keep the wings level during the flare.
400.
Don't do that too early though, she'll just drift downwind.
300.
A bit of thrust there, get back to our target speeds.
200. 100.
Keep descending.
50. 40. 30.
Check.
20.
Close.
10.
Hold the attitude. Just a little bit of rudder. Yeah, not bad. Right, speed brakes up. Reverses. Well, we'll do a flat 40, but that's fine. 73%. 100 knots.
80 knots.
80 knots. There we are. 60 knots. IRS. For the second time, at least staying on the runway this time as well. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Knock. There we are. So all the way over to the edge. So that flaps up. 45 metre wide runway, no problem to 180 on. Yes, that sound. There we go. And we eventually got to knock in one piece. Minus the runway excursion earlier. Oh my goodness me. Well, no idea what happened with X-Plane there. That was just so funny. Joystick, nav aids, comm. I mean, I've never seen any... There must be something really wrong to affect not just the joystick and the rudder, but the nav aids as well. How are they linked? I mean, I'm sure someone here will be able to tell me what actually happened in the background there, but for all of that to stop working, I mean, I could think maybe rudder and joystick could be linked because they're peripherals, but for the radio tuning panel to cause... for me to change the frequency of the nav aids to cause that stutter as well, that's very unusual, very unusual. Right, anyway. Take the next left and we'll have a little pan around the scenery. Yes, thank you very much, as I said, Boundless Direct for the copy of the scenery for Knock. As far as I know, it's as accurate as it can be. You've got the grooved runway here, because I think it is grooved here as well. Tiny little apron as well. It's 13 quid to buy, but yeah, only Ryanair and Aer Lingus I think operate from this airport. But yeah, nice airport to perhaps fly into. And yes, you have a chance of winning the copy of this in around 3 or 4 minutes. So, top tips when you're taxiing to an airport like this: take your time. It's a very small apron we're about to navigate onto here. In reality, you'd have marshalling guidance and even perhaps a wing walker to make sure that your wingtips are all clear and they communicate with you straight away. But if at any point you're taxiing in such a short or small apron and you're unsure of wingtip clearance issues, there's no such thing as being unsure. You immediately stop the aircraft, verify your position, and get assistance. So, vacating the runway. Runway lights come off, strobe lights and go to steady. We'll take stand number 1 of 2. Transponder to out off. That's 3,100. I can come off as well. I'm going to break to off 2. And we'll take stand 1. First on left here. There it is. It is literally the smallest apron ever. There we are. I've got a tug here. Funny thing, you don't need tugs in knock. It's all self-positioning, so probably get rid of the tug graphic there. But anyway, on the stand we go. Again, we'd have a marshaller. JAL don't have a service here. Disappointing. Yes. Right, there we go. Parking brake is set. AP is available. 2 blues. They should be off. They should be off. And that should be off. 2 blues, 1 red. Engine said. Eventually, then, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Knock Island West. In one piece-ish. Fuel truck's already here, look, ready to fuel us up. Amazing. Tiny Tim, you had an absolute buster in real life today. You got scolded for it by my instructor. I play flight sim. Tiny Tim, smooth landing is not the criteria for a safe landing. It's not what you want to be doing. No wonder your instructor scolded you. Depends how buttery it was and how far out of the runway you were getting that butter. But there we are. Anyway, let's have a little gander. So, Knock Island West, 13 quid from Boundless Direct, as I said. Very kindly provided this scenery here. It's a very small airport, not much to it. You've got 2 stands here for a 737 and a little bit of an apron here. Very famously, an A380 landed here not so long ago to be scrapped. If you type in YouTube knock A380, I'm sure you'll see the A380 landing here. And yeah, certainly long enough runway. But I think taxiing there, I've seen the video and it's there and it was scrapped basically to metal parts. There we are. But nice runway, got the turn pad here, got RNAV approach onto 08, the ILS onto 26 as well, Cat 2, so you can practice some low visibility approaches here. And it comes with this, I have Ortho 4XP, but it comes with this Ortho photo scenery around the airport, which is pretty cool. There we are. And yeah, I think look, you've got quite nice detail on the runway. You see that these lines here, and I think it's because it's actually grooved. I'm checking the aircraft charts there. Is it grooved? Oh, maybe it's not grooved, but they have a grooved texture here. I'm not sure. Pretty sure it might be grooved, but yeah. Anyway, Boundless Direct just released, 13 quid. It's a nice little airport to fly into, especially if you want to replicate Aer Lingus or Ryanair ops. You'll have it all available. Anyway, if you'd like to win a copy of Knock Island West, stay tuned. I'll tell you what to do very shortly. I just need to get the command here in Nightbot. And I've just accidentally mentioned what word I'd have for the keyword here, which I just need to put in here in the giveaway box. So, if you'd like to win a copy of Knock Island West by Boundless Direct, please only enter the giveaway if you have Explain 11 for obvious reasons. You just need to put a keyword into chat, okay? Please only put it in once, don't put it in more than once, because I have anti-spam enabled, which means if you post it multiple times, you will not have a chance of winning it. So, we are in Knock. I think the airport's also known as Connaught, but which cardinal waypoint, which cardinal point on the compass is it? Is it north, south, east or west? We're at Knock Island what airport? I've already said it a million times. It's case insensitive, so you can put it in lowercase or uppercase. Are we in north, south, east or west Island? We're in Knock what airport? Very easy, my giveaways. Only put that word in once in chat, don't do it more than once. Lowercase, uppercase, your choice. You can have a chance to win. If you are the winner, just get in contact with me via social media, Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. Show me your YouTube page with a logout screen. So if you click your logo on YouTube on mobile or desktop, the top right, you'll see it says logout. On the little page there, or sign out I think it says. All I need to see is your name with your logo, because I'll take a picture of that, whoever the winner is, and just show you, hey Flight Deck Sim, it's me that won the giveaway, here's my logo, gimme. Okay. And I haven't actually spoken to Boundless Direct, but basically if you create an account on their website, they'll add it to your account for you, or they might give you a coupon to use at checkout, which reduces the price to 0 for you. But I'll communicate how to do that with you. Excellent. I think we've had plenty of people answer correctly. The airport is also referred to, as you correctly put here, all of you, Knock Island West Airport. It's because it serves sort of West Island. It's very sparsely populated, but I think it serves not too far from 1 million passengers in normal times. It's a small airport, but a very busy little airport. Anyway, let's roll the giveaway here in the background. Excellent. So, the winner of today's giveaway is Lauren V. Oh, there you go. Lauren V has actually been very active, not a member of the channel, regular subscriber, completely random. Lauren V, congratulations. You've been here for a while as well, always commenting away, so thank you very much for your activity. Don't give me hashtag rigged. Lauren's not even a member. It's completely randomly generated according to the giveaway there. So congratulations to Lauren. Don't give me any of this membership rigged business. For goodness sake. I can't even choose anyone on the giveaway thing. It just says like you can choose if you only have members or anything, but I have everyone there. I have to explain myself every time. Oh my days. Well done, Lauren. Drop me a message on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, as I do request. I'm pretty sure it would be you, but just show me the logout screen. It just stops idiots. Not every giveaway, but the majority of giveaways I get usually 2 messages. Hi, I'm Lauren V. Yeah, right. Just drop me a message there and show me it's you. And I'll get that copy of Knock Island West to you straight away. Right then, let's call that a day. Let's have a look at the replay as well. Firstly, thank you to Boundless Direct, who not only has given me a copy to give away, they very kindly provided this scenery for me as well. It was very kind of them as well. It is available for $12.99 if you're so interested. You can go check them out at boundlessdirect.com. And they've got a few other aircraft available as well. I think Stansted Isle of Man, I've got the Isle of Man scenery. So if you're just to look out for there as well. Very, very cool. Right, let's turn down this one and cue the funky replay music. If I can find the goddamn thing before everything stops working. There we go. Right, that one's only been working for 29 minutes, which is good. Yeah, I was quite happy with that raw data approach. It's a little bit more challenging in a desktop sim. Your scan, you have to sort of adapt a little bit. But let's put ourselves on the threshold for runway 26. Nice atmospheric effects because of the humidity. Not sure about the one on the wheel though. There we are. Beautiful. There's the check. A little bit of left rudder. I got kind of decrabbed after landing. I didn't use any rudder there, but that's fine. Rip FPS. So we use from the tyre. There we are. Let's have a look from here. Good. A bit of a plateau, I think. A bit of a sharp drop off. Extended sensor line. A little bit high, that check. I kind of lumped it down. Like a double check. Wasn't that great? Yeah, that was alright. Beautiful. A little view from the tower, we do. Beautiful. Thanks for stream today, no problem, many miles on. Thanks a lot for popping in to watch it. Nice. Little skip. back in the wing view here. Excellent. Well, as ever, thank you so much for tuning in for another Flight Data Sim live stream. Please accept my apologies for the technical issues we had today's stream. No idea what happened. First discovered that we had an issue with the radio where tuning the radio didn't work, tuning the nav didn't work, joystick stopped working, rudder pedals stopped working. So it was definitely a serious issue with X-Plane in the background there, which made all that stuff, break. Couldn't get to the bottom of it, which was why we went off the end of the runway at the end there. But thanks to your patience, whilst I got things fixed in the background, I hope you sort of enjoyed the encore of a little raw data circuit in IMC as well. As I've already mentioned, thanks to Boundless Direct and to everyone donated, thank you so much. I also need to look into my Microsoft James. Only working part-time on the donation readouts as well, but that was hilarious as well. What else I've got to say? To all the regular viewers and subscribers, thank you so much for tuning in, and to all the members, thank you so much for the continued support. Enjoy the replay and landing, and I'll see you all again soon. Bye-bye for now.